Okay. Are we on air? Okay, thank you. Konnichiwa. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all had a good lunch, a happy one. So for our next topic, but before that, I would like to remind everybody of our registration.
Recording in progress.
I would like to invite everyone to register for this afternoon session as flashed on your screens and as pinned in our comment section sa ating PWU Facebook and YouTube accounts. The registration link will close 30 minutes before the last, 30 minutes after the last session. Usually 4:30, we will be closing the link. So please register now. Okay. Now for our webinar house rules and guidelines. Please ensure a stable internet connection. There will be a 10-minute question and answer portion after each session. You may type your questions in the PWU's Facebook and YouTube comment section. The link for the evaluation form will be posted at the end of each session. All evaluation should be turned in 12:30 p.m. That would be for the morning session, and 5:30 p.m. for the afternoon session. So for this afternoon, it would be 5:30. Only registered participants who completed the evaluation form will receive the e-certificates. So please grab this opportunity. Again, one session, one e-certificate for this 2-day free webinar activity. We now start with our afternoon session. She is a BS in Agribusiness Economics, a graduate, presently serves as Science Research Specialist 2, handling setups development to its monitoring, consultancy, One Lab referral, and scholarship units in DOST PSTO Davao Oriental. She is also an active Davao Food Safety Team member, one of the panelists and session manager of this afternoon session 2, The Road to Food Safety Compliance. Friends, let us join hands as we welcome Ms. Antoinette Rita Marie A. Blanco. Round of applause, please.
Thank you, Ma'am D, for introducing this afternoon session. So good afternoon, dear viewers from all across the globe. Welcome back to the second leg of the webinar series entitled The Future of Food Safety, Everyone's Responsibility. I hope you had a wonderful lunch and are now ready to lend us your attention to learn more about the food safety compliance in the Philippines. We know that MSMEs are critical actors in the economic landscape of the Philippines. To give you a glimpse of the landscape of the food safety status among MSMEs in the country, several DOST food safety team members will talk about issues on the food safety among MSMEs and on how this can be addressed through GMP compliance and certification. This afternoon's discussions will revolve around the MSME's road to food safety compliance towards certification. But hold on your excitement, ladies and gentlemen. Before the major speaker delivers his discussion, I will give you a summary on why there is a need for us to discuss food safety compliance processes this afternoon. Please lend me your ears as I discuss the major food safety issues among MSMEs in the Philippines and some takeaways on how the government and other food safety advocates can improve the food safety compliance in the country. To properly understand the concepts of food safety and MSMEs, let us first define them. As defined by the USDA, food safety is the conditions and practices that preserve the quality of food to prevent contamination and foodborne illnesses. While micro, small, and medium enterprises are categorized as any business activity or enterprise engaged in industry, agribusiness, and or services that has an asset size of up to 100 million pesos and an employment size with less than 200 employees. Now that we know those two concepts, let's take a look at some statistics on our MSMEs in the country. Currently, the combination of micro, small, and medium enterprises comprise 99.58% of all registered enterprises in the Philippines. Among these MSMEs, 12.13% are into manufacturing, and only a portion of it is into food manufacturing. However, more than 90% of our MSMEs are categorized as micro, meaning the bulk of registered enterprises in the country have less than 3 million worth of assets and could suggest minimal capitalization. Consequently, it is alarming to note that our MSMEs have significantly low level of awareness on different policies for them. Based on statistics, only 29 to 48% of these registered MSMEs have knowledge on the BMBE Act, the Go Negosyo Act, and the Magna Carta for MSMEs. Thus, with not much awareness on these policies, our MSMEs cannot maximize the incentives and support emanating from these policies, which could have been their stepping stones in their development. In that note, are our MSMEs really not supported or guided on how they should comply with food safety? Now, let's take a look at the food safety climate in the Philippines based on policies. Actually, the Philippines do not lack policies governing food safety. In fact, the Food Safety Act was already enacted in 2013. The Act unifies regulations and protocols on food safety from farm to fork. However, since the Act is quite general in nature, specific regulations for fresh, processed, and food service industries are still based on older policies. For the sake of discussion, let's talk about the country's reference for the current good manufacturing practices in manufacturing, packing, repacking, and holding food, or the AO153 series of 2004, which, by the way, is currently undergoing review and is currently at the legal services level of the Philippine FDA. According to the Center for Food Regulation and Research, they are bound to release the revised version of the AO by June this year. So sa mga nag-aabang dyan, the new development will be out by June. But going back, AO153 is a detailed guidance document for all food manufacturing establishments in the country for the requirements on plant layout, hygiene and sanitation practices, and other relevant GMP-related action points. Hence, AO153 is just one of the policies in the Philippines that was promulgated to keep the entire food chain regulated and compliant to food safety. Suffice to say that all our producers, no matter at which segment of the food chain they are at, have their own policies to follow should they really intend to. So what is really the problem in the food safety compliance among MSMEs in the country? Based on a study conducted by Rustia et al., 3 of the most crucial issues that need to be tackled by food business operators in the country are the gaps in food laws, high cost of regulatory compliance, and the lack of awareness in food safety guidelines and practices. Though as mentioned earlier, we do not lack the laws that govern food safety. There's just an obvious issue on the cohesion and the segmentation of these policies to be properly implemented. Normally, they are issues on sino ba ang mag-i-implement ng mga policies? Are there enough people and budget to implement these policies? And should there be coordination amongst LGUs, FSRAs, and other stakeholders on implementing them? Actually, FSRAs like the Department of Agriculture and its attached bureaus and the Food and Drug Administration are given authority to inspect and monitor registered establishments under their mandate. Yet they do not have enough human resources to conduct timely and consistent monitoring and inspection. In the case of Davao region, there are only 9 FDA inspectors. 4 of them are full-time, while 5 of them are just part-time inspectors. And then there are 1,421 food business enterprises with LTO as of 2021. This means that each inspector needs to inspect and monitor at least 158 enterprises annually. Considering the proximity of the establishments in Davao region, given that little resource, proper monitoring and inspection will be quite challenging, to say the least. And based on studies by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, support on laboratory testing is critical in ensuring the safety of the final food products. In the Philippines, since ISO-accredited laboratories are not that many yet, the FDA allows ISO-aligned laboratories to test food products for the LTO application. To cite an example, even our very own assisted MSMEs at DOST 11 cannot be accommodated all by our ISO 17025 accredited regional standards and testing laboratory due to capacity limitations. Hence, many of our customers would resort to availing the services of non-ISO accredited but FDA recognized laboratories. There's also a gap in governance. Governance is vital in ensuring proper implementation of policies. However, with the public's lack of trust to regulatory agencies, this remains a very big talking point. As a frontline worker who helps MSMEs comply with their food safety requirements, it is disheartening to hear clients tell me stories about how they don't want to engage with regulatory offices due to the fear of receiving penalties and sanctions rather than receiving assistance for certifications. The second issue is on the financial aspect. Many of our MSMEs do not find value in food safety certifications because many do not enjoy incentives from them. In fact, there are MSMEs who would do business as usual even without certifications or licenses because they can do so. Have you ever thought if the pack of banana chips or the pandesal that you bought in the nearby sari-sari store is produced by a processor with LTO? Maybe not. Kasi naman, we will still buy kasi masarap or mura or convenient kasi malapit lang yung tindahan. Because many of our food producers can manufacture and sell and actually even thrive without that much restriction if they sell through small and informal retailers like our favorite sari-sari store, the idea of becoming certified when they do not want to expand may be futile. This is based on my experience. Sabi na pa nga ng client ko, bakit mo pa ba ako pinupush mag-apply ng CPR? Okay na naman ako na dito lang ako magbebenta sa restaurant ko nitong produkto ko. She even added, I don't plan on selling my products elsewhere. So with this ideology, we can attribute that the idea of compliance to certifications in the Philippines is quite expensive, time-consuming, and gives little edge over uncertified products. Though our MSMEs, no matter how micro they are, can afford the processing cost of the application for LTO, the requirements and their prerequisites require extensive capitalization. Let's start with the basic. When you apply for the LTO, you need to have an AO153 compliant building. Isn't that right? So how much does it cost for you to build one? I have a client who recently built a new commissary. It's a one-story building approximately 27 by 8.7 meters big. When it was completed, their estimated cost of construction was already a whooping 5 million pesos. That's roughly 21,200 pesos per square meter. And that's just for the building. No equipment and required tests yet. So, if you have minimal capital, it will be difficult for you to be highly compliant to food safety standards. The third issue that needs to be addressed is the lack of awareness in food safety guidelines and practices. Unless you're already an MSME who already has a license to operate, most probably you haven't attended or even heard of the most basic requirement in food safety. And what is that? The good manufacturing practices. Since not all MSMEs have the capability to hire food scientists or technologists, oftentimes their knowledge on food safety practices, trends, and regulations is limited to what they learn from FSRAs and their accredited service providers. In my personal experience, food MSMEs who visit our office are usually unaware of the basic requirements of GMP and even think that nutrition facts can be copy-pasted from the internet for their product labels. You see, there's a very big disparity. But let's not lose hope. Food safety programs implemented by several government agencies are slowly coming to fruition. However, the country can still step up on this advocacy. To help our MSMEs comply on food safety standards, the government and other food safety advocates in the country can help support by enhancing the food safety program through documentation and licensing like SSOP and FSMS manual development. In laboratory services, currently DOST has the One Love project, which can still be expanded to provide subsidy to food producers. On research and development, we now have food innovation centers across the country, but we still need to strengthen them for better output. On infrastructure development, the government and other sectors may need to invest more on our MSMEs to provide assistance on compliant processing facilities. And on equipment acquisition, though DTI and DOST already have these programs, maybe what we can do is to enhance and improve the application process and budget allocation for this program. The second thing that we can do is by capacitating the business operators through making trainings and consultancy services free or affordable all year round. We can focus on trainings on GMP, documentation, and risk analysis. Since reliable data is a must in decision making, our current FSRA managed databases need to be improved. Based on the Food Safety Act or RA 10611, the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Health are mandated to maintain a repository of information on food safety hazard, foodborne illnesses, regulatory standards, and other relevant information. Those standards, like the Philippine National Standards, are already published online. Information on FBDs, foodborne diseases, and food safety hazards need to be recorded appropriately to produce a reliable data bank. To populate the data bank, the culture of reporting of FBDs could also be heightened to ensure that information is available for research and public reference. But the country's way forward in food safety compliance is not restricted to what I have mentioned. Many of you may think of possibilities to help this advocacy. But meantime, let's trickle our minds on what we can do. If you are interested to learn more about the food safety issues in the country, you may snap a photo of my references for your guidance. And as cliche as it may be, Lao Tzu's quote saying, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step" is quite applicable when complying for the food safety requirements. Just like now, if you are here with us, if you are an MSME and you're attending this webinar, it only entails that you are taking a step to really understanding food safety compliance in the Philippines. So guys, stay tuned because in the succeeding presentations, you will be guided on what you need to do to comply to the Philippine food safety regulations through licensing and certification. And that's it. Please remember that the One Food Safety team is here to help you. If you need to contact me, you may contact me through the links below. If you need food safety assistance, especially in Davao region, please do. But before we proceed with the major speaker, let me encourage all our viewers to please post your questions in our YouTube and Facebook Live comment section so that my co-MFSM scholars can get them and we may be able to address them later. So now we have come to the most awaited talk, the licensing and certification processes. Let me introduce to you our major speaker for the first segment. An enterprise's journey towards food safety compliance normally starts from understanding GMP, and to legalize its existence, the enterprise needs to level up and proceeds to acquiring a license, then certifications. If you are in the food industry, the next topics will be of help to you. Our first segment this afternoon will focus on the food safety related licenses and certifications in the Philippines. This segment's major speaker, may we see your beautiful face, Sir Heinrich, will talk about the process of LTO initial and renewal applications. He is a BS in Agriculture Extension Education graduate and is currently a Science Research Specialist 2 at the Provincial Science and Technology Office in Nueva Ecija. Let's now welcome in the virtual floor, Mr. Heinrich O. Villanueva.
Thank you, Ms. Tunet, for your kind introduction. So sa lahat po ng nag-attend ng ating webinar ngayong hapon, good afternoon po sa ating lahat. To start the journey towards the food safety compliance and acquire certification, I will now present the initial application process in the renewal application process for the FDA LTO license to operate. This includes the legal basis and the required documents needed for the application. So again, I'm Heinrich Villanueva presenting the FDA LTO initial application and renewal. For my topic overview, I will be presenting who is FDA, the FDA LTO registered establishment in food industry, what are the legal basis for the issuance of LTO, what is the license to operate, how to apply, and the LTO initial application steps and the LTO renewal application steps. So to begin with, let's know more about who is Food and Drug Administration. Sino nga ba si FDA? FDA, or formerly called the Bureau of Food and Drugs, or BFAD, created under the Department of Health to license, monitor, and regulate the flow of food, drugs, cosmetics, and medical devices in the Philippines. So also FDA develops the plans, policies, programs, and strategies for regulating processed foods, drugs, and other related products. Also, FDA formulates the rules, regulations, and standards for licensing and accreditation, and also provides the technical, consultative, and advisory services, and develop capability of filed offices on licensing and enforcement of the law, rules, and regulations. And last, FDA monitors, evaluates, and ensures the compliance of manufacturers, distributors, advertisers, and retailers. So FDA is sila po yung agency na nagbibigay ng assurance upang masiguro natin ang quality and safety ng ating mga binibiling produkto. For the FDA LTO registered establishment in food industry, so based on the FDA website, here are the different categories and the total registered establishment per categories under the food industry. To highlights po, here are the top 3 na merong pinakamaraming registered establishment. So for the food manufacturer, meron tayong 8,253 registered establishment. For food traders, we have 3,181, and for the food distributor, we have 8,514, and the overall total registered establishment is 20,137 under the food industry. Okay. So for the legal basis for the issuance of LTO, we have the Administrative Order 153 Series of 2004, or the Revised Guidelines on Current Good Manufacturing Practice in Manufacturing, the Administrative Order 18-A Series of 1993, or the Packing, Repacking, or Holding of Food. And last, the Republic Act 8172, or the ASIN Law. So the company are required to meet the requirements and standards that is stated po dito sa ating mga legal basis before applying for FDA LTO. Okay, so now we will proceed. Ano ba ang license to operate at ano nga ba ang purpose nito? License to operate is an authorization issued by the FDA to an establishment to grant a permission to undertake a trade or carry out a business activity such as manufacturing, importation, exportation, sale, offering for sale, distribution, or transport of food products. So the license to operate is one of the mandatory requirements by the FDA to prove that the company operation meet the standards and requirement to assure the safety and quality of the product. Let's now proceed po for the LTO application. So how to apply for LTO? In application of LTO, pupunta lang po tayo sa kanilang FDA electronic portal. So as you can see here, ito po yung picture ng kanilang portal that later on, i-discuss ko po yung step kung paano po natin sasagutan yung mga questions sa portal. And in LTO application, there are some frequently asked question bago mag-apply. So one of the frequently asked question in LTO application is how long is the period of processing? So the period of processing is it takes 30 calendar days upon the receipt of the complete documents. And another is how long is the validity for initial LTO? An initial license issue shall valid for 2 years. And last, what are the prescribed fees and charges for initial LTO? So here's the sample prescribed fees under the food manufacturer, and these prescribed fees and charges are nakadepende po sa ating declared capital upon the application. You can take photo of this po as your reference. Then we are now proceeding to the initial application step process. So based po dun sa mga naka-experience before, noong mga unang panahon, the application is you need to visit the FDA offices or any near FDA office to apply. And ang pag-apply po natin is by fill out all the forms and submit through hard copy, same as dun sa mga requirements na kailangan natin itong i-provide by hard copy. But now, the application is made easy and it's done by visiting their website and apply using an electronic portal. And also the submission of requirements are by uploading the scanned documents to their portal. So here's the steps in initial application. So we have 5 steps. So the first one is prepare the documents. Number 2 is create e-portal account. And number 3, apply using e-portal. And number 4 is the FDA review and inspection. And for step 5 is the compliance to audit findings. Okay. For the step 1, the preparation of document, we need to provide the 3 types of documents. So the first one is the legal or business document. For the preparation of legal business documents, so we need to prepare the certificate of business name registration, the mayor's permit, the sanitary permit to operate, the zoning permit, the barangay business clearance, and last is the financial statement or the proof of capitalization. Okay, for the preparation naman po ng technical documents, we need to prepare the organizational charts, the rejection, return, disposal policy, the handling product recall, return and complaints, the retention of documents, the retention of samples, and then the quality audit, the production layout, the list of approved suppliers, and last is the list of product with process flow in its packaging size with sample label. Then last, for the preparation of technical records, we need to prepare the cleaning and sanitation record, the in-house or third-party laboratory analysis, the production records or the batch manufacturing records, the sanitation checklist, the calibration certificate of monitoring or measuring instrument, the personnel training program and records, the health certificate of your personnel, the certificate of analysis of raw materials and packaging materials, and then the pest control program in records. So that's all the list of documents that needed for the step number 1, and then we are now proceed to the step number 2, which is the create your e-portal account. On creating e-portal account, accomplish the authorization letter for the ELTO user account application. So here's the sample ng template ng authorization letter na kailangan po nating ma-accomplish. Then fill out the template. Kailangan po natin ilagay dito is the name of the company, name of the authorized representative, and then pipirmahan po niya ito. After ma-sign, ipapanotarize po natin itong authorization letter, and then after ma-sign, isa-send na po natin siya kay FDA. So to send the signed notarized authorization letter, so ito po yung kanilang email address, the fdac@fda.gov.ph, and follow their email standard format. Ito po ang kanilang email standard format. You can take photo of this as your reference din po. Then next. After may send ng letter kay FDA, you will receive a response from FDA within 3 to 5 days showing your e-portal account and password. So as you can see here, ito po yung example ng email ng FDA indicating your login credentials or the user and the password na gagamitin natin for the application. Then after that, you will be proceed in step number 3. In step number 3 is the application po using the e-portal na. So to apply, just visit their website, the www.fda.gov.ph, and click the e-portal tab. So as you can see here, sa e-portal tab or e-portal system, naka-indicate naman po dito yung purpose kung ano po itong apply natin. So nakalagay naman dito is application for LTO, CPR, and other authorization, FDA authorization. And then ito lang po ipipili nating icon. Then click that icon. Pagpuproceed po tayo sa kanilang login page. In login page, ilalagay lang po natin dito yung user and password na sinend ni FDA. And then, after makapag-login, you are now ready to start your application. So to start, just click the new case button and then you will proceed to the next, which is the purpose of application. For the purpose of application, since you are applying for FDA LTO, just click the LTO and then start the task. Okay, after that, magpo-proceed tayo kay terms and conditions. So if you're agreeing dun sa statement ng kanilang terms and conditions, so just click yes, I agree, and then continue. Then now, after that, you will proceed sa kanilang type of application naman. So in type of application, hihingin po dito ni portal kung ano po yung product type na ina-apply natin, ano yung primary activity ni company, magkano ang declared capital, and ano yung type of application. Okay, to highlights po the previous slide, ito po yung mga information na we need to declare. If the portal asking for your product type, pipiliin lang po natin dyan kung ang product ba natin ay food, drug, toy, cosmetic, or medical devices. For the primary activity naman, ilalagay lang din natin doon kung tayo po ay manufacturer, repacker, or trader. And then for the declared capital, ito po yung mga range kung magkano po ang i-declare natin na capital that later on, ito po yung magiging basis nung babayaran nating fees or charges kay FDA. And then for the application type, pipiliin lang natin if we are applying for initial or for renewal. Okay. After you fill out all the needed information sa previous slide, so you're now proceed naman sa company profile. So in the company profile, ilalagay lang po naman natin dito the name of the establishment, the name of the owner, and then the contact information, and then proceed to the next. Then for the product profile, dito po pipiliin lang natin yung product kung saan nakakategorize yung ina-apply po natin. So to highlight the product profile, ito po yung mga categories na pwede nating piliin kung saan po dito naka-under yung product na ina-apply mo natin for FDA LTO. And then after that is the address information. In the address information naman po, ilalagay lang natin dito kung saan located ang office, warehouse, and the planta. And then the last is the details of qualified personnel. So the details of qualified personnel, ilalagay lang po natin dito yung name ng authorized representative natin, and then the contact information. Then after that, this is the highlight po ng ating application na, which is the uploading of the needed documents. So as presented on the previous slide, ito po ulit yung mga list ng mga kailangan nating documents na i-submit kay FDA. Okay. Pag na-submit na po natin kay FDA yung mga documents na kailangan natin, the FDA portal ay magpo-provide po ng order of payment. In order of payment, dito po naka-indicate po yung total fees based po dun sa declared capital as shown dun sa previous slide. And then kung babayaran po natin siya, pwede natin siyang bayaran kay Land Bank through their FDA clearing account number for food. So you can take photo of this as your reference po. And then next is, ito po yung sample po ng payment slip ni Land Bank. So ganito po siya i-fill out. And then, tsaka po natin siya babayaran. And so this part po, kapag nabayaran na natin, we are partially done on our application. And wait na lang po tayo for the FDA inspection. Then after that, we will proceed on the step 4, which is the review and inspection. So itong part na ito po ay part na ni FDA. So once the documents reviewed by FDA, mag-a-assign po sila ng inspector. So the inspector naman po ay set ng date kung kailan po siya magkakandak ng on-site visit. Then next po. Then after the audit at meron silang nakitang findings doon sa inyong company, the inspectors write the audit report and then the report will be uploaded in their portal. So once the report is uploaded, that's time for you to respond, and which is magpo-proceed na tayo sa step number 5, the compliance to audit findings. So as you can see here, ito po yung example format ng audit report ni FDA. So in the first column is indicating the audit findings. Kung meron man silang nakita, dito po nila ilalagay yung mga deficiencies. Then for the second column, ito po yung applicant action, or dito po tayo maglalagay ng preventive actions or the corrective actions based dun sa audit findings. And for the third column, to justify the corrective action, mag-upload po tayo ng supporting documents. And then for the last naman po is the target date kung kailan po natin may comply yung ating mga corrective actions. And then next, wait for the reply of FDA kung meron pa silang meron pa silang nakita na kailangan mo pang i-comply. Pero pag wala naman na pong concern sa FDA regarding the audit findings, you are successfully done on your initial application, and that's it for the initial application process. Then for the last part of my presentation, let's now proceed with the renewal application process. So in renewal of FDA LTO, meron din po tayong mga frequently asked questions. So first, how long is the validity of the renewed LTO? So a renewed license shall valid naman po for 5 years. So mas matagal na po ang validity niya compared dun sa initials. And then, what are the prescribed fees naman po and charges for the renewed LTO? So for the renewed LTO, ito po yung sample po ng prescribed fees for renewal that valid for 5 years pero mas mataas na po ang ating babayaran. And then the last is, when the earliest time to apply for renewal, the LTO shall be renewed within 90 days before its expiration date. Okay? So now for the process of application for renewal, na trim down lang po siya or na shorten lang siya into 2 steps. So the first step is reactivate your e-portal account. So ito po yung sample picture kung paano po tayo mag-send kay FDA ng email, and then after ma-send the request, you will receive a response from FDA within 3 to 5 days informing about the reactivation of your account. Then for the step 2 in renewal, apply using e-portal. So balikan lang po natin kanina yung step 3 process dun sa initial, just answering the needed information na kailangan po natin, and then after ma-comply all the needed information at makapag-update kung meron man pong ipapa-update si FDA, and that's it. you're successfully renewed your license. Then here's my reference po for your guidance in application for FDA LTO. And that's end of my presentation po. Thank you.
So, dear viewers, if you are an MSME and you haven't applied for your LTO yet, now is the time to apply. Thank you, Sir Heinrich, for showing our participants that the LTO application can easily be done by our MSMEs. But wait, the LTO is just the basic food safety related document for food manufacturers in the Philippines. So if you want to expand your horizons in your food safety compliance from your LTO, you need to learn more about CPR, GMP certification, and product labeling. And we're glad that we have our esteemed, beautiful panelists to discuss them. So our panelists, please show us your beautiful faces. To talk about the CPR application process, we'll be having Ms. Reyna D. Elida, a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Electronics and Communications Engineering and is currently a Science Research Specialist 2 at PSTO Bataan. To be followed by Ms. Rose Ann T. Bautista, a graduate of Biology, who will talk about the GMP certification process in the Philippines. And to complete the package of the licensing topic, Ms. Grace A. Ricardo, a Science Research Assistant of PSTO Davao de Oro, who is a graduate of Business Administration, will be talking about the Philippine labeling requirements. So now, in addition to license to operate, you need to secure a certificate of product registration for each of your products. So if you have 20 products, you need 20 CPRs. To give us light on how to get our products registered, our panelist, Ms. Reyna D. Elida, will show you the step-by-step CPR application process. Please take over the virtual floor, Ma'am Reyna.
So thank you for that, Ma'am Tonette. And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome sa ating mga participants all over the Philippines. So since we're talking about the road to food safety compliance, I will share another regulatory requirement set under AO 2014-0029, which is very important as well for you to know since most of you are into food manufacturing. So as mentioned earlier, a license to operate is a document that recognizes the legitimacy of a business to produce food. So this means that we secure LTO for the processing area itself. But how about your products? Do you need a certification for that? Yes, of course, as a food manufacturer, complying with FDA means two things: getting your license to operate and securing your certificate of product registration or registrations if you have multiple food products. But what is CPR? So CPR is a certificate issued by the FDA for the products that have been approved and registered in the Philippines. And did you know that there are more than 120,000 assorted food products and raw materials that have certificate of product registration in the Philippines, and this is based on the FDA website. And if you want to have your product be added to that list, this presentation is for you. But which comes first, LTO or CPR? So of course, LTO comes first before you can apply for your CPR. And at this moment, I know you are asking, ano-ano nga ba yung mga produktong kailangan ng CPR sa ating bansa? So base sa ating Food and Drug Administration, all processed food and food products manufactured and or distributed for trade are required to secure CPR before these are sold, offered for sale, or uses, distributed, or supplied. Since we already know what CPR is, let's move on and how you will apply for the CPR of your product. So as stated by Ma'am Tonette earlier, one of the challenges faced by the MSMEs regarding the certification and compliance is the amount needed in order to apply for these types of certification. So, but it is better naman po to invest with this kind of certification since you will be complying with the standards and regulations. And I know some of you are thinking, Gastos lang naman yan. Makakapagbenta naman ako kahit wala yan. But you must know that getting your CPR is one way to assure your customers that your products conform to the standards. And this means that the more assurance you give your customers regarding the safety of your product, the more they will trust your product. And having a CPR is not only beneficial to your customers, but to your company as well. So in this presentation, we narrowed them down into 5 major steps. So these steps were very similar to what was presented with the FDA LTO initial application. So let's start. So the first step is the activation of your CPR application tab. So this is because you already have your ePortal account after you have applied for your FDA LTO. So to do this, you need again to accomplish the authorization letter and send it to the email flashed in your screen. So after successfully activating your CPR application tab, you can now access it in the portal, just like what is presented on the screen. So we can see here that the FDA already activated the application tab, and you can already access or start your ePortal application. But before that, the next step in the CPR application process is to prepare your documents, which is categorized as technical documents and technical records. So yung mga technical records includes the image of the product or label sticker and the image of product in commercial presentation in all angles, copies of valid LTOs for manufacturer, trader, distributor, seller, exporter, and importer, food safety certifications if you have any, like GMP, Halal, HACCP certification, product HACCP risk assessment, other supporting documents like your trademark and quality seal. While the technical records includes the microbial analysis and the nutritional analysis or the nutritive calculation of your product. Now, if your documents are ready, we can now proceed to step 3, so which is the actual application using the ePortal. So the first thing to do is start a new case. Then you can now go through and explore the portal and fill in the required information like the purpose of the application, terms and condition, type of application, company profile, product preliminaries, and the product profile. So to give you an idea on what the portal looks like during the application, here is a screenshot of what was inside the portal. So one of the most important details you need to answer in the online application form under product preliminaries is the type of food product, which is categorized into 3 based on AO 2014-0029. Your product may be low risk, medium risk, and high risk. Also, I have included here some products which falls under those specific categories. So another example we can see here under the product profile is the chemical and the microbiological composition of your product. So here in this slide, we can see example of microbiological reference or criteria per specific product, which is based on the newly released FDA Circular 2022-012, or also known as the Guidelines on the Microbiological Requirements and Assessment of Certain Prepackaged Processed Food Products, repealing the FDA Circular number 2013-010, entitled The Revised Guideline for the Assessment of Microbiological Quality of Processed Food. So in the given examples, may makikita po tayong legends. Diyan sa table, yung mga letters like small letter N, which stands for the number of sample units selected from a lot food to be examined. So ito po yung mga bilang ng mga sample na kailangan nating isubject sa testing. While small letter C stands for maximum allowable number of marginally acceptable samples. Another legend po na makikita natin is the small letter M, which stands for acceptable level of microorganisms determined by specified method, while the big letter M is the level which, when exceeded in one or more samples, would cause a lot to be rejected. as this indicates the potential health hazards or imminent spoilage. So sa makatuwid, ito po yung mga limits kung saan pwedeng maglaro yung result ng inyong sample na masasabi nating pasok pa din siya sa standard. So let's highlight one example na naka-flash dyan sa screen, which is yung para sa ating peanut butter and other nut butter. So based sa circular, ang required microbiological test for peanut butter is the salmonella testing. So to which makikita natin sa ating table na yung letter N or yung required sample na kailangang i-test per lot is equivalent to 5. And para masabi natin nagko-conform sa standard ang inyong produkto, hindi ito dapat makitaan ng traces of salmonella since ang nakalagay sa standard ay not detected or absence. So, if this part of the requirement is still confusing to you, no worries since hindi naman ito kailangang sauluhin, but ito ay inyong reference lamang upang malaman kung nagko-conform sa standard o hindi ang inyong produkto. So, the important thing is you will be able to subject your product to the required analysis since the certificate of analysis is very important in your CPR application since this will be the proof whether your product is safe to eat. So, okay, going back to the next step of the application process. So after filling in the application form, you can now upload the soft copy of the documents you have prepared earlier. And please take note that the size limit were in a maximum of 2 MB per attachment in PDF or PNG format and a 25 MB max for all attachment per application to avoid encountering problems with regards to your application. So right after uploading your documents to the portal, you will proceed to the pre-assessment process wherein they will initially check the completeness of the documents and information you have given. So an approved pre-assessment does not automatically mean that the product will be issued a CPR. And a processed food product application for registration could be approved only if it conforms to the following requirements, like if you have valid LTO, clear and readable documents, accurate and complete data, entry declaration, which is consistent with your uploaded documents. So moving on to the last step is the result of the pre-assessment, which will be sent via email. So you will be notified whether your initial application is denied or approved. This is depending on the completeness of the submitted documents. So here in the screen, we can see an example of a result of a pre-assessment with denied application. So this includes the list of deficiencies the company needs to address. So all denied results of the pre-assessment are required to reapply again by starting a new case and uploading all the documents, including those indicated in the deficiencies. So an email notification for approved pre-assessment includes the order of payment, which indicates that the prescribed fees you need to pay through FDA or bank. And you can pay the prescribed fees through any land bank using the FDA clearing account flashed in your screen. And usually, prescribed fees ranges from 1,000 to 1,250 plus 1% LRF, good for 5-year validity. So proof of payment will be sent to FDA via email and FDA will send an acknowledgement receipt. Please be reminded that while you are still waiting for FDA's response, you must check your e-portal and email from time to time. Processing time for your certificate of product registration is about 20 working days after a successful pre-assessment. And a system-generated email notification with attached CPR shall be sent if the application is approved. It is the applicant company's responsibility to download and print the system-generated CPR in the inbox of the account holder. So here are the references for this presentation. I hope that you have learned the initial application process in acquiring your very own CPR. Always remember The future of food safety is everyone's responsibility. That's why as soon as possible ay hopefully makapag-apply na rin po kayo at makakuha ng inyong CPR to ensure that your products are safe to eat. So if you want to know more about the process in applying for your CPR, just go to www.fda.gov.ph. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Back to you, Ma'am Tonette.
Thank you, Ma'am Reina, for the detailed discussion on the CPR application. Kung tayong tao may birth certificate, ang mga produkto din natin dapat ay may CPR. So viewers, did you know that apart from the LTO and CPR, there is also Good Manufacturing Practices certification? GMP certification means regulatory compliance among food enterprises. Thus, the certification establishes a framework for the creation and use of additional quality and food safety management system. Ms. Rose Ann T. Bautista will now discuss the process of GMP certification in the Philippines.
Thank you, Ma'am Tonette, for your kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to all participants from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Welcome po sa ating webinar. To start with, we all know how important us to have a license to operate in our food manufacturing, or even we process a non-food product, or to obtain a certificate of product registration for every product that we offer in the market. But wait, there's more. Did you know that there is another certification na pwede nating kunin? At ito ay ang Good Manufacturing Practices Certification. Let's now surely discuss what the importance of GMP in our product. Good Manufacturing Practices, or the GMP, is a system made up of steps, instruction, policies, and procedures that guarantees manufacturing commodities like food, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals are regularly produced and monitored in accordance with quality standard. GMP implementation can reduce losses and waste, also preventing recalls, fine, and jail times na ayaw po nating mangyari. Overall, it guards against bad food safety incident for both business and the customer. To ensure the production, verification, and validation of produced goods and guarantee their quality and safety for market distribution, manufacturers are required to follow the GMP laws. So let's now discuss the process of GMP certification. Here is the presentation outline. First, you have to know what the application requirements. Second, you need to know how frequent audit is. Third, what are the certification requirements? Next, how long the inspection period and the process of audit to be conducted. And last, the compliance period of the certification. For the application requirements, you can email at info@fda.gov.ph to simply ask, what are the requirements or the step-by-step process for the GMP certification? You may also send a letter to fdoc.letters@fda.gov.ph. You can also visit at your nearest FDA office, and you may inquire personally, and they provide information and requirements needed in the certification. So unlike LTO and CPR, they provide e-portal na inilalagay po natin yung mga information for the inspection. Hindi po ito kasama sa e-portal na ibinigay ni FDA yung pagpaprocess po ng GMP certification. So this is the actual reply po ng FDA for inquiring the GMP certification. So you need to prepare a letter of intent indicating that you want to have a GMP certification. You need also to attach the latest of copy of your FDA LTO. And if you have a previous GMP certification, pwede rin po natin itong i-attach. And a payment of 500 pesos for the processing fee ng ating certification. For the frequency of certification, conducted within the validity of LTO, yung license to operate, at least 1 year na po tayong operational. And if you on a process for the renewal po ng ating license to operate, maaari din po nating isabay yung ating GMP certification. So ang renewal po ay kada 1 taon. For the certification requirements, you need to ensure that the Administrative Order 153 Series of 2004 or the revised guidelines on current good manufacturing practice in manufacturing, packing, repacking, or holding of food are in place. So what are yung nilalaman po ng A0153 Series of 2004? So here are the 12 important data na kailangan nating ihanda at malaman. So kung natatandaan nyo po, those data na ipinakita po natin ito nung tayo po ay nagpa-license to operate. So like GMP organizational chart, job description, plant layout, certificate of calibration, training of your personnel, pest control monitoring, policies in receiving of raw materials, quality control like certificate of analysis, the SSOP, and all the checklists and logbooks must be updated. If you conduct internal audit, so policies and procedure kapag meron po tayong mga product recall. And syempre, meron din pong sample retention. And last, yung ating memorandum of agreement sa ating mga subcon. Okay? For the inspection process, the inspection process will consist of document review, walkthrough, interview of the people involved in the manufacturing. So they will ask questions and will want to see evidence that will establish if the company is in compliance with the relevant GMP standard. If the finding is noted, they want to see additional evidence as requested. So for the inspection period, the length of the inspection period will depend on the complexity po ng manufacturing process and the need to be covered. So generally, an inspection will take 1 to 5 working days. So after the inspection, for the compliance period, the manufacturer is provided with a post-inspection letter containing the deficiencies during the inspection. So the establishment is given 6 months to close out all the deficiencies noted during the inspection through the submission of CAPA plan. The plan must be incorporated details of the corrective action and the preventive action and the target date of compliance. So the response should be clear and comprehensive with a reasonable timeline to resolve and the concern that the manufacturer is informed by a letter that inspection has been closed out and a copy of the final report. So here is one of our client, the Coco Chabel Food Trading located at Pulilan, Bulacan, and their product is the bawang chip. So Coco Chabel Food Trading is one of the previous company that comply and pass the GMP certification. This is the actual certificate po na marireceive natin kay FD. So there are some private accreditation body that conduct GMP certification. We have the Integrated Assessment Services and the SGS. We also have the TUV, conducted GMP certification, also Asian World, and the Moravec and HSA also provide GMP certification. Okay, and now you're done with your GMP certification and you're ready for the higher certification. In connection with that, did you know that GMP and HACCP or the Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points are both systems intended to ensure the safety of food, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals. GMP is the first or the basic step to food safety, a series of principles to be fulfilled to ensure that products meet legal prerequisites for safety and quality. So it can be one of the components of HACCP, which is a systematic approach to production that is designed to prevent hazard. But there are some manufacturers, they got only HACCP and only GMP. So yung iba pong mga supplier, ang nire-require nila is the GMP certification at yung iba naman po ay HACCP certification. Pero di ba mas maganda kung lahat ng ito ay meron ka? So I'm now presenting the food safety management system hierarchy. That's every business, food business must have a food safety management system in place to protect their consumer and aim to control the risk of food safety hazard and to ensure that no unsafe product is released in the market. So achieving a food safety is not a guessing game. Proper food safety management system like SOP, 5S, GMP, HACCP, halal, and definite principle that need to achieve the food safety. Kaya naman po bukas, sama-sama nating tuklasin ang kahalagahan ng mga ito. At laging tandaan, the future of food safety is everyone's responsibility. Thank you for your listening and God bless everyone. So here are the references and that's end of my presentation. Maraming salamat po muli. Back to you, Ma'am Tonette.
Thank you, Ma'am Rose, for walking us through how we can apply for GMP certification. So yan, marami pa tayong mga MSMEs na dapat tulungan on GMP certification. But aside from certifications, there is a need to complete product information through the packaging and labeling. To know more of what consider in making your products beautiful yet completely informative, let's hear the inputs of Ms. Grace A. Ricardo about the Philippine food labeling requirements and why it is important in the application for the certificate of product registration.
Thank you, Ma'am Tonette, and good afternoon to all our participants. I just wanted to share additional input of an important information that we need to know prior to our application for the Certificate of Product Registration, as previously discussed by Ma'am Reyna Elida. And this is the Philippine Food Labeling Requirements as per FDA Administrative Order number 2014-0030. Some of you may already know the topic, pero sa mga hindi pa nakakaalam or nakalimutan na ang labeling requirement, this topic is for you. Ang tanong, dapat ba may label? Well, sabi ng DTI, bawal ang walang label. Kasi nga daw, ang produkto ay parang relasyon. Di ka sigurado kung walang label. Sa mga nakarelate, maaaring mag-share sa ating comment section. Pero balik usapang pagkain tayo. According to FDA, product label is important because consumer information through food product label is considered as one of the effective national food safety and control system, as the complete product information will help the consumer assess if the product is safe to purchase and consume based on their preference and the product condition. Also, the RA 10611 or the Food Safety Act of 2013 defined the purpose of label, which is to provide important product information to the consumers. With the presented food safety consumer protection purpose of food label, FDA ensures the manufacturer's compliance with this policy. Thus, they include the proper product label as one of the requirements for the CPRE application. Unfortunately, FDA has listed the non-submission of complete, clear, and readable label as one of the common causes of denial or disapproval of CPRE registration. With this tedious FDA requirement, we could say that kapag hindi tama ang label ng isang produkto, siguradong hindi ito rehistrado. I will show you one of the reported case for non-compliance with food labeling requirements. This happened in Baguio City. But based on our experience and observation, I know that this does not only happen in Baguio City, but it is very common in many marketplaces. Why these cases continue to happen despite of the FDA's strict implementation and the labeling assistance provided by the other government agencies, such as the OSD and DTI? Shortly, let's take a look with the common reasons why the manufacturers continued to be non-compliant with the labeling requirements, particularly the micro, small, and medium enterprises. These are based on our experience and interview with our client and co-service providers. We categorize these factors according to three key players in the marketplace. We have the manufacturers, consumers, and the government. For the manufacturers, if you could remember, these concerns are directly related to the MSME's issues and gaps to food safety compliance as presented by Ma'am Tonette. Number one is some of the manufacturers lack knowledge on mandatory label information requirements and product registration. In our experience, some of our clients requested for labeling assistance just for marketing purpose and without knowing and considering the FDA food label requirements. There are also manufacturers who already know the policy, but they choose not to comply with the requirement because of fund problem or unwillingness to shell out extra cost for laboratory tests, as some of the required information with the label needs to be backed up with laboratory results, such as nutrition facts. Also, some are hesitant to spend extra cost for printing of a proper product label. Why? Because they still continue earning from their products with improper label. And lastly, for the manufacturer, other manufacturers are selling products even if it's still in the research and development phase to test the product marketability. Now let's proceed to the contribution of the consumers. Consumers' lack of awareness and consciousness on the food safety importance and implications of the unregistered and improperly labeled products contributes to this labeling problem. Thus, consumers continue to patronize the unregistered and unlabeled products. The result of the study on consumer awareness on labeled food products conducted in Digos City has listed circumstances when do consumers purchase products without reading or minding the labels. Top on the list is when the consumers are in hurry. Ikaw ba yan? Minsan pag tayo ay nagmamadali, we forgot to read the product label. Second is when consumers trust the seller. Tayo ba to? Kasama ng ating tiwala sa seller, ang tiwala din natin sa produkto. And third is the food is sold at low price. Because of economic crisis, sometimes we compromise buying the unlabeled products. And number four is when we purchase a routine or familiar foods. And the last one is when we are on streets or on journey at wala tayong ibang choice. Now let's proceed to the government side. The lack of personnel of the implementing agencies. This is also mentioned as one of the reasons for the MSME's non-compliance to food safety policy. Now, ang challenge is anong magagawa natin? Since food safety is everyone's responsibility, we should take our part to implement this policy. We consumers, let's not patronize products without label or proper label to prompt the manufacturers to comply with the labeling policy. If you are a manufacturer na nandito ngayon, itama na ang dapat itama. Go to your nearest DOST office for your needs on proper labeling. Now, let's learn what are the food product labeling guidelines that we need to know as stated in FDA Administrative Order 2014-0030. By the way, this requirement is specific for the pre-packaged food products. First, let's know the parts of the labels as defined in the Administrative Order 2014. These are the principal display panel or PDP or the alternative display panel and the information display panel. What is the principal display panel or the alternative display panel? It is part of the label that is presented or shown to the consumers when displayed, which should bear the brand name, product name, and net or drain content. Now, the second part is the information display panel. It is the adjacent side of the PDP and it bears other mandatory food product information not listed in the principal display panel. Now, let's know what are these 11 mandatory information. Again, there are 11 mandatory label information that needs to be present on the product package. Number one is the brand name. It is a registered brand or trademark appropriated by the manufacturer, repacker, distributor, or trader. Reminders, bawal kopyahin ang registered trademark ng iba. Number two is the product name. It should be specific to the product content. It should be established or the common product name according to the food standard and should be presented prominently in the PDP, meaning naka-bold ang letters at kung di siya ang pinakamalaki, dapat kasing laki siya ng ibang text sa packaging. Number three is the net contents or drain contents. It should be presented in metric system or international system of units like gram, kilogram, liter, or ml. Remember, it should be the weight or volume of the product before packing. Then let's proceed to number 4. The complete list of ingredients. It is required to be written in descending order according to proportion in either to the PDP or IDP, except for the single ingredients such as food, such as coffee. No, kasi wala siyang kasamang ingredient. And for the sweetened beverage, it is important to write the specific type of sweetener. The number 5 is the name and address of the manufacturer, prepacker, packer, importer, trader, and distributor. But if the prepackaged food is not manufactured by the person or the company whose name appears in the label, the name must be qualified by manufactured for or packed for. And if you are selling an imported products, the importer's complete name and address with the country of origin shall be declared. For the products carrying brands or manufactured under license by a foreign company, the name and address of the foreign company shall also be written. Now let's proceed to number 6, the lot identification. It is used for traceability of the product in case of product recall happen, because lot identification will help you track your food product as it moves through the food supply chain. To set your lot code, you need to set first what your lot represents. Depending on the manufacturer, others use the production shift as their lot. Thus, they use the product date and shift number. However, for the big manufacturers, they include information such as line number, manufacturing site, and other information. Lot code could be written in numeric or alphanumeric form, or you can use the Julian calendar to create the code. It shall be embossed or permanently marked individually in the packages or containers. Number 7 is the expiration date or use by date or consume date. It shall be printed clearly on all product except for the alcoholic beverages. And it shall be written in this format: day, month, and year. And always remember that month should be printed in words, as it is most often overlooked. This is to avoid confusion of the consumers when the date are written in numbers. At paalala, ang product shelf life ay dapat siguraduhin mong meron kang backup sa iyong claim. It's either you tested the shelf life or you subjected it to a laboratory test. Number 8 is the storage condition. For products that need special storage other than normal room temperature, storage condition shall also be printed in the package as storage condition affects the product shelf life. The number 9 is the food allergen information. For the products with identified food allergen ingredients, such as food allergen information shall be written immediately after the list of ingredients. What are the food allergens identified in the AO? The food allergens include, but not limited to, cereal containing gluten, wheat, barley, oat, spelt of their hybridized strain and products of this. Also, the crustaceans and its products, egg and its egg products, fish and fish products, peanuts, soybeans and its products, milk and milk products, including lactose, tree nut and nut products, and a sulfite of concentration with 10 milligram or more. If the product used those major food allergen ingredients, such as egg, it should be labeled with contains plus the specific name of ingredient. And for the products with ingredients mixed with food allergen or manufactured in equipment that also process food with allergen, it should be respectively labeled with may contain or manufactured in equipment that process a specific allergen or may use any similar expression. We should ensure to write allergen information in the prepackaged food products. Why? This is to protect the consumers with food allergies and other consumers with food hypersensitivities, as the food allergic reaction may vary from severity to from mild to severe reactions. It involves hives and lip swelling to severe life-threatening symptoms. often called anaphylaxis, or a condition that causes the immune system to release a flood of chemicals that cause you to go into shock. This case will cause your blood pressure drops suddenly and the airways narrow that resulted to blocking of breathing. The signs and symptoms of this case also include a rapid or weak pulse and a skin rash, nausea, and vomiting. Remember that there are products not covered in this policy, particularly the products that are not packaged, such as bakery products displayed on trays or food products sold for immediate consumption. If you have food allergy, you are advised to ask the store personnel for food allergen information prior to procurement. And do not buy products if you are unsure if it contains food allergen. Number 10 is the direction and instruction for use. It shall be printed to where applicable or necessary to ensure correct utilization of the food. It is also important to indicate the number of liters that could be made per pack size of the powdered sweetened beverage products. The last one is number 11, or the nutrition facts, nutritive information, or the nutritive value. Hindi po ito pwedeng kopyahin sa ibang produkto. This should be based on nutrition analysis per specific product. But some products are exempted from these requirements, such as food served for immediate consumption, food that contains insignificant amount of nutrients, such as coffee, spices, and other food flavors, and the bulk materials for further repacking. Also, there are products such as water, infant milk, and medical dietary food shall also use its own labeling requirements when it comes to nutritive value. All right, that's the food labeling requirements in the Philippines. And always remember that the food product label must be primarily compliant with FDA AO 2014-0030. For special products and products for exports, please refer to other labeling guidelines such as Codex, ASIN Law, PNS, and other applicable standards. And if you want to learn more and have a deeper understanding on the required food product label, just take a photo of this reference slide and visit the websites. As I end my presentation, aking iiwanan na dapat tandaan that food safety is everyone's responsibility. Kaya Juan at Juana, ugaliing i-check ang food product label. That's all. Thank you, and back to you, Ma'am Tonette.
Thank you, Ma'am Grace. We now have a glimpse of what the 11 essential requirements are in making a compliant product label for the Philippine market. So muling paalala, viewers, mapaprodukto o relasyon nyo man, bawal ang walang label. But at this juncture, I know our viewers have so many questions in mind regarding the topics discussed earlier. May I request our major speaker, Sir Heinrich, and our panelists to join us in the virtual floor to address our viewers' questions this afternoon. To our viewers, please take your time to post your questions in our Facebook and YouTube comment sections, and we'll be picking out at least 5 questions to address today. So I think we have here questions for Sir Heinrich. We have a question from our participant from the Zoom meeting room from PSTO Sultan Kudarat. Sir Heinrich, are you ready to answer? Is there a law that created FDA?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, good afternoon po. So, thank you for that question. Yes po, we have the law with regards to the created of FDA. So, created the FDA under the Republic Act number 3720 or series of 1963 as amended by the Executive Order 175 series of 1987 and otherwise known as the Food, Drugs and Devices and Cosmetic Act and subsequently Republic Act number 9711, otherwise known as the Food and Drug Administration Act of 2009.
Okay, thank you, Sir Henry. So, clear na po ba tayo? Prior to 2009, it was called BFAD, and 2009 onward, it onwards, it became FDA. So we have another question from our Facebook Live participant, Sweet the Prinal Carpio. I think she's asking, may soft copy po ba kayo na mabibigay pang reference lang po sana? So I think one of our co-scholars replied to you that we'll be providing a copy of the presentation if you will be requesting us through our official email, pwuwebinar@gmail.com. So if you would like a copy of the presentations, then email us. Sir Heinrich, meron pa po tayong questions for you. Kapag iba na po ba ang qualified personnel, paano po maiiba? From Ma'am Maria Garcia, I think she's from Facebook Live also. Paano po ba gagawin pag iba na daw po yung qualified personnel as registered in the LTO e-portal?
Gawa po ulit tayo ng letter and then send it to FDA for your changes dun sa qualified personnel.
Okay. So yun po. Just look for the email of your FDA in your region. So kung saan po kayo as na locate na region, dun din po kayo mag-email sa kanila. So now we have a question for Ma'am Rose under the Good Manufacturing Practice Certification topic. Good afternoon po, is Flor from Jane Riel, I think also from Facebook Live. Good afternoon, is Flor considered as low risk or raw material food, as low risk or raw material food categorization? Siguro ang question is it categorized as a low risk ingredient ba? Or, yeah. Sino po pwedeng sumagot? Si Ma'am Rose?
Yes,
Or si Ma'am
ma'am.
Reina?
Hello, Ma'am Tonet.
Hello.
I think connected ito sa aking presentation
CPR.
regarding the CPR application. Since may nabanggit po tayo kanina na part po ng ating application na makategorize natin yung ating product if it is whether low risk, medium risk, or high risk. But yung question po niya, base po sa ating AO 2014-0029, ang mga flour or starches and other flour mixes are considered low risk products since under po siya ng mga cereal products po, ma'am. Yan. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Reina. I think that's clear. So pag shelf-stable po ang inyong product, normally they are categorized as low-risk products. So ilang questions na ba yun? Pang-apat na question, meron pang ulit, sir, pabalik. Favorite nila itong LTO application topic. Hello po, good PM from Selena, where is this from? I think from Zoom. Selena, hello, good PM. Can we apply for initial LTO application even if production has not begun? However, our facilities and equipment are ready naman po. Thank you.
Okay po. So to answer that question, yes, I think you are allowed naman to apply for FDA as long as your facility and equipment are ready. And mas maganda kung meron tayo na secured na SSOP or the Sanitation Standard Operating Procedures Manual.
Yun po. So, pwede naman po mag-apply for LTO basta meron po kayong LTO and compliant plant layout na masasubmit sa FDA. So, our last question for the Good Manufacturing Practice topic. Hello po, I have a question. I know that the topic is about food safety and all, but pwede din po ba ma-apply ito if it regards to cosmetic products, especially lip products po? Thank you. From Ma'am Rizlen Lin, I think from Facebook Live. Ma'am Rose?
Good afternoon po. Meron po tayong FDA Circular Number 2013 or 002, yung revised guidelines po for licensing ng cosmetic establishment. So may lip about it cosmetic, ma'am.
So yun po, required din po lahat ng ating makeup products kasi they will be touching our skin. So ano bang gamit nyo? Are they FDA registered or accredited? So yan. Thank you, Ma'am Rose, for answering our question. So for those who have posted their questions but we were not able to answer you right now, maybe we'll be addressing you later pag meron pa po tayong time. But before we proceed with the next topic, ito na po ang pinakahihintay ng lahat. Let's have fun first. Who knows about Kahoot? So, maglaro muna tayo for a chance to win GCash. Ayan na po. Pasok na po si Kahoot. Andyan na ba si Kahoot? Ready nyo na po ang inyong mga cellphones. So to join this game, please grab an extra phone or any device that is connected to the internet kasi kailangan nyo pa rin makita ang napa-flash sa screen na mga colors and questions. Log in at kahoot.it and use the game pin that shall be provided later. Ano bang game pin natin ngayon? Enter the game room with your nickname. So mag-isip-isip na kayo kung anong nickname ang gagamitin nyo. And please note that our account can only accommodate up to 400 participants. So if you wanna win GCash, so yan na pala, we have our game pin 2164688. So enter kahoot.it and enter this game pin 2164688. Enter your nickname. So in this game, we will be having 5 questions and the top 3 in the podium will be rewarded with GCash later. You'll be given 30 seconds to answer each question by choosing the correct color as shown in the Game Master screen. Remember, this is a game of speed and correctness. So speed and accuracy are key to GCash later. But wait, winners in this game must send the screenshot of their podium win to the messenger account of Ma'am Reyna Elida along with your full name and GCash number. Ma'am Reyna's messenger account details will be posted at the topmost comment in our Facebook Live later. Now, let's Kahoot. Ilang players na ba? We now have 170 players. Pasok pa po yung iba. Our GCash prizes will be, for the first will be 300 pesos worth of GCash, second 200 pesos worth of GCash, and the third will be receiving 100 peso worth of GCash. So, paabutin lang natin ng maybe 200. We now are in 193, 194. So yan, 200 na po tayo. We have broken the mark. So meron pa bang mga sasali? Pwede na po siguro tayong mag-umpisa, Ma'am Reyna. For the first question on this segment quiz, what is the asset size limit for MSMEs? In red, it's 100 million pesos. In yellow, it's 10 million pesos. In blue, it's 99 million pesos. Or in green, it's 50 million pesos. Again, what is the asset size limit for MSMEs? Is it 100 million pesos, 10 million pesos, 99 million pesos, or 50 million pesos? And the correct answer is 100 million pesos. So our leading now is Nene, seconded by a cell phone number, and the third one is MJ. So habol po sa mga others. Next. Our second question, what does GMP stand for in the food industry? Is it red, great manufacturing practices; yellow, good manufacturing procedures; blue, good manufacturing practices; and green, great manufacturing procedures? Again, what does GMP stand for in the food industry? Is it great manufacturing practices, good manufacturing procedures, good manufacturing practices, or great manufacturing procedures? So the correct answer is good manufacturing practices. So we got 143 who got the correct answer. Oh, leading pa rin si Nene. And then followed by MJ and followed by the cell phone number 0935-522-0144. Let's go to the next question. How long is the processing time for the CPR for food products after the successful pre-assessment? Is it in red, 10 working days, yellow, 20 working days, blue, 15 working days, or green, 30 working days? Again, how long is the processing time for the CPR for food products after the successful pre-assessment? Is it 10 working days, 20 working days, 15 working days, or 30 working days? And the correct answer is 20 working days. Oh, 46 lang yung naka-correct. So our winners are, bumaba na si Nene. Goodbye, Nene. So our topmost scorer is 095, followed by MJ, and then followed by Shannon. Oh, feeling ko kilala ko sino si Shannon. Okay, next. And the fourth question is, how long is the validity of the initial FDA LTO certification for food products? Is it red, 1 year, yellow, 2 years, blue, 3 years, or green, 5 years? Again, how long is the validity of the initial FDA LTO certification for food products? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years? And the correct answer is 2 years. Congratulations to the 55 who got it correctly. So, sino na ba ang leading natin ngayon? O bumaba na si... yun pa rin. 0935 is still leading. And followed by MJ and Miko Factoriza. Congratulations to 3 of you. So, we'll now proceed to our last question. What attribute is not a requirement to be placed on the product labels based on the Philippine labeling requirements? So is it red, expiry date, yellow, product name, blue, net weight, or green, certification logos? Again, what attribute is not a requirement to be placed on the product labels based on the Philippine labeling requirements? Is it expiry date, product name, net weight, or certification logos? And the correct answer is none other than the certification logo. So our winners are... Congratulations to third place, DOSTNCR Carlos. Second place is MJ. And the first honor for this game is 0935-522-0144. Baka marami ka ng text later after this. So don't forget to take a screenshot of your podium win and then send it to the messenger account of Ma'am Reyna Elida alongside with your full name and GCash number. So at this juncture, to keep our bladders healthy, let's take a health break for 10 minutes. Please be back at 2:47 p.m. for the next segment. Thank you. We'll see you later. So ayan, nakapag-stretch na ba tayong lahat? Or nakapag-health break na ba? Don't forget to hydrate, guys, kasi ang init ng panahon. Ulan ba dyan ngayon sa Luzon? Dito sa amin sa South, napakainit today. So hintayin lang po natin for a while. So sa mga meron pong mga tanong, please post your questions on our Facebook and YouTube Live. And later, we are looking at your questions now. Napakarami pong very interested sa FDA, LTO, and CPR applications. So we'll try to address most of the questions after our second segment later. So please stay tuned with us. We're just waiting.
Tunet, pa-check ng audio ko kung okay lang.
Yes po, Sir Art. Naririnig ka naming lahat very well.
Salamat. Wala namang manok.
Wala naman pong manok. Wala po muna tayong So, our dear viewers, welcome back to the second segment of this afternoon session. Please sit back and be comfortable as we listen to the next speakers. When you apply for LTO in the Philippines, the usual bottleneck is the submission of a compliant plant layout. Hence, our next speaker will discuss details on what an effective plant layout is. He is a BS in Physics graduate and is currently a Science Research Specialist too from PSTO Ilocos Sur. Let's now listen to Mr. Arthur Aubrey Alviar.
Thank you, Ma'am Tunet, for that kind introduction. Magandang araw sa ating lahat. Dinig po ako? Okay. My objective is to impart my learnings from PWU and experience in effective plant layout for food manufacturers, especially those food business operators planning to have a license to operate from the Food and Drug Administration, as mentioned a while ago by our past speakers. For the information of everyone, the FDA LTO as food manufacturer, ang ina-accredit dito ay yung food manufacturing facility. Meaning, you should have a compliant production area. Hindi siya part ng kusina ng ating bahay or any portion of the household. And it must meet the minimum requirements required by the DOH Administrative Order Number 153, Series of 2004, or mas kilala sa tawag na the Revised Guidelines on Current Good Manufacturing Practices in Manufacturing, Packing, Repacking, or Holding of Food. Real talk. The production area is the bottleneck of most food manufacturers in their application for FDA LTO. Either inappropriate or non-compliant to food production layout. So, kung wala ka pang FDA LTO, dahil hindi ka kumbinsido na papasa ang existing production area mo, or ikaw ay nagbabalak na magpatayo ng food manufacturing facility or mag-conform sa minimum standard ng plant layout, then please, samahan nyo ako. Tara, talakayin natin ito. There are two identified challenges by the food manufacturer in effective plant layout. Number one, the food business operator has no experience in plant layout. Sino sa inyo dito sa mga participants engaged in food processing business? Inumpisahan ang negosyo sa pagpapatayo agad ng production area. Kung meron man, aba, mapalad ka, may malaki kang puhunan. Ngunit sa karamihan, nag-umpisang magnegosyo ng food processing sa kusina. Mula sa maliit, unti-unting umusbong ang negosyo, kumita hanggang sa makapagpatayo ng sariling production area. Then, nag-apply para sa FDA LTO at doon nalaman niya hindi pala akma ang pinatayo niya ang production area dahil sa kawalan ng tamang kaalaman sa effective plant layout. Nakapanghihinayang, di ba? Ganyan ang karamihang senaryo ng mga micro and small food processing industries. Number 2 in the list of challenges is the limited resources, such as capital investment for building, land, improvement, renovation, as well as for equipment. Now, nakarelate ka ba sa mga challenges na ito? Well, you are very lucky today for attending this webinar because I will teach you the secrets on how to design effective plant layout in just 5 easy steps. Even if you have no experience at all in plant layout or any related courses in civil engineering. To tell you honestly, I'm not an engineer or even a food business operator. But with the secret techniques which I learned from PWU and the DOST, I was able to do it. How? Let's find out. First of all, ano nga ba ang effective plant layout? Let's have a uniform operational definition based on the DOST Food Safety Team Manual. Effective plant layout refers to the arrangement of physical facilities such as machinery, equipment, and facilities within the factory building in such a manner as to have the quickest flow of material at the lowest cost and with the least amount of handling in processing the product from the receipt of material to the shipment of the finished products. Parang nawala yata yung slide. Hindi. Back, ma'am. Back, ma'am. From this comprehensive definition, we can extract what are the things needed to be arranged and why we need to do this. Simplified further, next, ma'am. These are the needed things to be arranged: machinery, equipment, and the 4 facilities, namely materials, personnel, storage space, and supporting services. If we talk about machinery, equipment, these are the needed functional food processing tools that it can include equipment for future expansion, but not defective equipment. Real talk, especially to micro and small food manufacturers. It was a common observation during food safety assessment that defective equipment ay nandun at matagal nang nakaimbag sa loob ng food processing facility. Ang malala nito sa katagalan, maalikabok na at namugaran na nga ng ipis, gagamba o kung ano pa, or nag-uumpisa na ring kalawangin. This is a big no in the production area because of the potential risk to food safety hazards that can lead to food contamination. Bakit nga ba madalas nangyayari ang ganitong senaryo? Because of the feeling of attachment. Kasi may sentimental value at umaasa pa rin tayo na pwede pang ibalik sa dati. Mindset lang mga kaibigan. Minsan, mas tamang bumitaw kapag alam mong wala nang patutunguhan, di ba? Sa mga nakarelate dyan, if you already assess it beyond repair, ang tamang gawin is to remove defective equipment within the production facility as soon as possible. Also, another observation is that consider the dimensions of machinery equipment na gagamitin mo. Kasi baka sa sobrang laki, hindi na mag-fit ng maayos sa available production space mo. Di mo na nga maipwesto at magamit. Nakakaapekto pa ito sa productivity at safety na rin ng manggagawa. base sa occupational safety and health standard para po sa mga floor type equipments or mga equipment na hindi na kailangan ng patungan dahil kaya niyang suportahan ng kanyang sarili mula sa floor, minimum clearance from the wall is at least 6 inches. And in between major floor type equipment, at least 1.5 meters apart for ease of workers' movement and for maintenance. Now, in terms of the materials facility, this refers to the following receiving facility of starting materials or incoming goods quarantine, storage for approved materials, dapat merong separate storages for approved dry ingredients, wet ingredients, packaging materials. And lately, hinahanap na rin ng mga FDA LTO inspectors ang storage for hazardous materials kagaya ng chemicals, disinfectants, cleaning tools, and non-food supplies. For the personnel facility naman, minimum na merong locker gowning room equipped with hand washing sanitation, foot bath, space for shoe racks, separate shoe rack for street shoes and worker shoes, hand washing station to strategic places within the production area, especially sa packaging room kung meron tayo. We also have laundry area, toilet, canteen pantry for production workers. Now, pagdating naman sa storage space facility, this refers to the product storage, gaya ng storage of approved products, storage of approved product retention. Itong dalawa na naka-green dyan, yung naka-highlight, ito yung minimum na hinahanap ng FDA LTO inspectors. But then again, habang nagtatanong ang mga FDA LTO inspectors natin, pag nalaman nila na meron tayong mga product recalls and also product returns, hinahanapan ka na rin ng storage para doon. If in case you mentioned na meron ka ng mga experience na ganyan. Now, pagdating naman sa supporting services facility, these are considered auxiliary facilities, not directly involved in the processing of the product, but helps in attaining, maintaining quality and safe food. Examples include dedicated solid waste disposal exit, drainage maintenance facility, equipment maintenance facility. Minimum na po dito is yung ating washing area for equipment, quality control facilities, in-house laboratory para na po sa mga malalaking companies ito, sampling room for sampling of deliveries of materials, R&D facility, food defense room, security and surveillance room, ventilation facility, loading bay station, unloading bay station, so on and so forth. Next slide. These are the things needed to be arranged properly, machineries and facilities. Thus, the main objective of the effective plant layout is to design a smooth workflow of materials in allotted space to make equipment, workers more productive and to avoid food contamination, thus ensuring food safety in the workplace. There are 4 types of plant layouts, namely process or functional layout, product or line layout, hybrid or combination layout, and fixed position layout. In process or functional layout, similar machines and similar operations are kept in one place. In other words, machines are arranged according to their function, kaya siya functional layout. For example, as you can see in the screen, in a meat processing facility, all machines for cutting, slicing meat like bonzo, meat slicer are grouped in one place. All the equipment for grinding meat in another, and so on and so forth. This is the most common plant layout for micro and small food manufacturing facilities. And this will be the main focus of our plant layout today. Now, the second type of plant layout is the product layout, also known as the line layout. Why? Because input raw materials are processed sequentially and continuously, forming a straight flow of production. This product layout applies in mass production, where a massive number of the same product and a continuous flow of the process is needed. Also, kung titingnan din ho natin dito, the input materials travel from a starting reference point until they become a product at the end of the line. A classic example is the full automation in the processing, bottling po ng soft drinks, wherein a company uses an inline equipment technology for the beverage production, just like in the example picture. Now, the third one is the hybrid layout. This is just the combination of the process layout and the product layout. Example, in this meat processing scenario, we have a process layout for the meat slicing and the grinding, kagaya nung nakita natin kanina. And then, for its product layout scope, succeeding numerous processes in this meat processing are mechanized inline, such as the mixing, stopping, tying, sort packer counter, then finally packaging. So parang ito yung tipo na ilalagay mo na lang yung product ay yung material, paglabas nakapakete na. Yan ang hybrid combination layout, a combination of functional and product layout. Now the last is the fixed position layout. The product stays in one place while workers and machinery move to it as needed. This is just the exact opposite of the product layout, wherein stationary material for the fixed position layout, while non-stationary or moving material naman for the product layout. Of course, a typical example na lamang po dito, yung nakikita natin na airplane dyan, di ba? Nakafix yung ating mismong material and the final product. Ang umiikot na lamang po dito is yung mga workers and as well as the equipment. But anyway, the good news is only the fixed position layout is not used in food manufacturing layout. Now we go with the process flow. The process flow can be layouted in various forms. As you can see in this diagram, we have a shape, a rectangle, representing the production area, and the arrow pointing the process flow within the production area. The most easiest layout is a straight line, wherein the in represents the start of the process flow, the line, and the line is the step-by-step processing, and the out is the end of the process or the exit of the approved products. Now, aside from a straight line, process layout can also be layouted as L-shape, U-shape, zigzag, or a combination of these four, provided that it will not cross with the previous process flow, just like what happened on this last example. Next, ma'am. Ayan. Diba? There is a crisscross flow or a process intersecting with the previous processes. Now, this is a big no in food manufacturing as per DOH A0153 series of 2004, since crisscross flow can lead to cross-contamination of food, thus compromises food safety. Next slide mo. Now let's talk about the 5 easy steps on how to do effective plant layout. Step 1, identify the product to be manufactured. Step 2, write the process flow of every product to be manufactured. Step 3, write available equipment, machinery. You can also include future equipment if you like. Take note also of the equipment dimensions, particularly all major equipments. Now for the step 4, number of personnel involved in the food processing. And for the step 5, available production area. Sa mga food processing operators po na nandito ngayon, di ba? Lahat ng mga steps na yan readily available na sa inyo. It's just a matter of how to properly do it. Example, step 1, identify product to be manufactured. So, ang ginawa kong example, yung favorite ni Mrs. ko, gourmet tuyo. Lalo na pag tinutuyo po siya. An appetizing Filipino fish delicacy made from dried herrings o yung tuyo kung tawagin, soaked in olive oil with spices, bottled, then thermally processed for its preservation. Now, for the step 2, we write the process flow, starting from the quality control of materials, followed by the storing of approved materials, so on and so forth, until the last step, which is the quality control exit of approved products. Then, the step 3, list the needed equipment as per identified process flow. For major equipment such as floor type equipment, we need also to write its dimensions for us to fully visualize the appropriateness of equipment to the available space in the production area. Then, step 4, identify the number of production workers, especially the optimum number of workers that will produce quality products at a given time. The ideal number of workers depends on the production volume and complexity of the processes. Now, in my example, gourmet tuyo manufacturing, nag-set ako ng 2 workers as all-around food handlers that will do the preparatory works, a cook for the critical process of pressure cooking, and a packer who will do the culling, sealing, labeling, and storing of approved products. Now, for the step 5, consider the available production area. Of course, we need to evaluate kung lahat ng mga inilista natin for the previous steps can be accommodated in such a way that ensures a smooth flow of equipment, workers, and materials without compromising food safety. Now, for my example, I use a production area of 80 square meters, 10 meters by 8 meters dimension. Next slide. And with that sufficient data, this is now an example of an ideal production area for gourmet tuyo. Ma'am, ayan. Nakikita po ba? Okay. Ayan, kita na. So, as mentioned earlier, we need to arrange the equipment and the facilities based on the process flow of gourmet tuyo manufacturing, taking into the account the process layout diagram such as the straight flow, L-shape, U-shape, zigzag, or combination of these diagrams, provided that it will not crisscross or intersect with any other processes. So, let's trace the process flow within the production area. Magic, ayan. Starting of approved materials, the next preparation of materials. Next. Ayan. Next, cooking. Next, formulation filling. Next, pressure cooking. Next, cooling. Next, sealing, labeling, next, storing of approved products, and finally, the quality control exit of approved products for distribution. As you can see, guys, we have a combination flows of U-shape and a zigzag shape. Am I right? Well, anyway, let's analyze this production area further. First, the equipment machineries are arranged definitely in accordance with the process flow. Walang palipat-lipat or pabalik-balik, ika nga. Diba? Now, for the personnel facility, paki-pinpoint po yung sa personal facility natin. Ayan. We have a locker room directly connected to but separated from the processing area. So, paki-point yung dalawa nating doors. Ayan. Na magko-connect with the locker room. It has a dedicated entry-exit door, okay, for production workers. Now, all doors must be self-closing doors. And the direction for opening the door is via pull, hilain po. And not the traditional push door kagaya ng nakagawian natin sa bahay. Why? Because of the consideration of airflow, wherein it must adhere not to allow air from contaminated areas to clean areas. The same concept also with the airflow inside the production area, from cleaner area to dirtier area. Isa sa nakakatulong para ma-lessen ang airflow movement from a room to another room ay ang pagkakabit ng mga PVC curtains. Paturo po ng PVC curtain natin. Ayan. So yung mga doors, merong PVC curtains. Siguro, di kayo kumpinsido na maglagay ng ganito. But to tell you honestly, isa ito sa major food safety concern na napapansin ko sa mga processing area na ginamitan ng feng shui. Yung tinatawag nilang easy airflow or go with the airflow per a positive chi para laki kita, ganda negosyo. Nevertheless, para po sa akin dyan, ang stand ko, pagdating sa food establishments policy, number 1 in your goal is safe food, profit to follow. And I encourage everyone na sa ganitong perspective, iset mo ang iyong food business. Unahin mo ang kapakanan ng karamihan. Sigurado, kikita ka. Now, going back to the plant layout, the personnel facility, pabalik ulit tayo sa locker room, ma'am. Napungsoy lang ho. Is equipped with a hand washing, pa-point yung hand washing. Yan. And foot bath, gowning area. Okay, pa-point yung gowning area. Yeah. Nowadays, FDA LTO is asking for a separate gowning area na may naka-install ng whole body mirror for males and females. We also have there space for shoe racks, separate shoe rack for streetwear and shoe rack for worker shoes. We also have a laundry area and toilet. Take note of the position of the locker room in the layout. Kagaya rin ng ating airflow kanina, the position of the locker room should be located in the cleanest area. Of course, ayaw natin na ang mga packers who are handling the final processes ay dadaan pa going to the assigned area sa high-risk areas like the preparation area, so on and so forth. Now, for the materials facility naman, we have quality control of incoming materials. Point po sa baba. Wherein dito ini-inspect kung pasado ang dinedeliver na materials. Take note, only approved materials shall be allowed for receiving inside the production area. Bawal na magdala ng reject inside kasi parang pinahintulutan mo na rin ang food contamination pag ganun. Now, a separate storage for approved materials, for dry materials, dry ingredients, pa-pinpoint po. Ayan. We have there. We also have storage materials for wet packaging materials. And nowadays, hinahanap na ng mga FDA LTO inspectors ang secured space for hazardous materials. Pa-pinpoint po yung storage natin ng hazardous, ma'am, sa taas. Malapit sa washing area. So, kung papansinin natin in this plant layout, it is separated from the processing areas and always kept locked during the processing period. Now, for the third facility natin, yung product storage spaces, we have storage of approved products. Ay, nasa packaging po, okay? As well as for the storage of product retention. Ayan. Now, pagdating naman sa support services facility in this layout, also included a dedicated washing area for equipment. Pa-point lang, ma'am. Nandito yung washing area natin malapit sa storage. A dedicated storage ng hazardous, ma'am. Hindi. Panyan, ma'am. Personal facility. Ayan, andon. Sa washing area. This is a washing area for equipment. Ayan. We also have a dedicated solid waste disposal exit. Ito sa exit trash. A quality control area for the exit of approved products. Dito na sa packaging. Inventory receiving approved products for distribution. Ayan, nandito sa labas. And a drainage maintenance facility which I will show later. LPG tanks must be installed outside the processing areas as shown in the layout para maiwasan ang food contamination due to chemical hazard from gas leaks within the production as well as the risk of explosion. We also have the entrance door for approved materials only, yeah, as well as the exit door for approved products only. In other words, hindi mismong yung tao na galing sa labas ang magpapasok nito sa entrance, kundi may magre-receive na food handler mula sa loob. Gayon din sa exit of approved products, yung food handler na nasa loob ay hindi pwedeng lumabas. Bagkus, merong dapat nakaabang na magre-receive sa labas. Now, kung nagkataon na meron kayong mga delivery vehicle, make it sure na pag pumarada, nakapatay ang makina at yung tambutso niya ay nakaturo papalayo mula sa entrance or exit door, kagaya ng nasa diagram natin. Pa-point nga yung exhaust pipe, ma'am, ng sasakyan sa diagram. Okay. Nandito sa medyo right corner yung exhaust pipe na nakalagay doon. At siguraduhin na merong safe distance at least 1.5 to 2 meters mula sa door. Now, for the drainage maintenance facility in this gourmet toyo manufacturing, next slide mo. Next slide. Ayan. Ayan. Napansin nyo may magkaroon ng magic. Ayan. Make it sure na rodent-free construction. Hindi ito papasukan ng mga daga or ipis o kung ano pa mang pesteng rodents. It must also be strategically located within the production area. Common na nakaka-installan nito is near sa wet and dirtier sections. Then, dapat may kaukulang slope. At least a nominal na 10 degrees slope from the corner of each drain area in order for water to drain freely with minimal assistance. Meron din dapat itong easily cleanable drain cover plate at a grease trap. Also, consider the flow of wastewater. Dapat from cleaner going to dirtier. In this plant layout, next ma'am. Okay, it's a little bit, hello? Ayan, okay. Now, another example. Next ma'am. Okay. Step 1, identify products to be manufactured. We have a vegan longganisa, an Ilocano sausage delicacy with plenty of garlic and spices in the mixture. Mula po ito sa probinsya ng Ilocos Sur. So step 2, we write the process flow starting from quality control of materials until the final step, which is the quality control exit of approved finished products. Now, step 3, list the needed equipment as per identified process. Then we go for step 4, identify the number of production workers, especially the optimum number of workers that will produce quality products at a given time. Now, the ideal number of workers depend on the production volume and complexity of the processes. In my example, the vegan longganisa, nag-set ako ng 2 workers para sa slicer, isang grinder, isang mixer, isang stopper, 3 tires, and 2 packers, a total of 10. Medyo marami-rami ang nilagay natin na production workers since this ideal company has a bulk orders and that the company is eyeing fast, continuous processing of longganisa to preserve its quality and to avoid too much exposure of materials to environmental risk. Now for the step 5, consider the available production area. For my example na vegan longganisa, I use a production area of 96 square meters from 12 meters by 8 meters dimension. Next slide. This is now an example of an ideal production area for vegan longganisa. As mentioned earlier, we need to arrange the equipment, machinery, and the 4 facilities based on the process flow of vegan longganisa manufacturing, taking again into the account yung process layout diagram natin such as the straight flow, the L-shape, U-shape, zigzag, or combination of these diagrams, provided that it will not crisscross or intersect with any other processes. Sige lang, ma'am. Yan, sige. Ayan. Sige lang, ma'am. Okay. Yan. As you can see, guys, we have a combination flows of zigzag shape, straight flow, and a U-shape for this particular vegan longganisa layout. And sa drainage naman, okay? And back, ma'am, back. Ayan. So, paki-point na lang yung sa drainage natin, ma'am. Ito. Ayan. Ayan. Okay. Now, compared sa previous example natin, may mga naidagdag na support services facility, kagaya ng admin office, which is inventory, receiving of approved products for distribution, is now part of the admin functions, a dedicated product storage room, a dedicated packaging room, and the rest, almost the same. Template, ika nga. Diba? Ang dali, diba? And guys, that's the 5 easy steps in effective plant layout. This is now my last slide. I'm praying na sana may natutunan tayo sa aking presentation kahit konti. Kagaya ng operational definition of effective plant layout, the types of plant layout, process layout, diagram, and the steps in effective plant layouting. If wala, last tip. And ito po ang pinaka-important tip sa lahat at walang kahirap-hirap. Visit the nearest provincial Science and Technology Office, DOST, near you, and let them guide you for effective plant layout. They are providing free technical and consultancy services in effective plant layouting as part of the food safety assessment. Whole package, ika nga, kasi food safety assessment na yan, saan ka pa? May libreng plant layout ka na, may food safety assessment report ka pa, puhunan sa building at compliance na lang ang wala. Kaya mo yan. It's only difficult but not impossible. Please stay tuned as we journey the road to food safety compliance, because the future of food safety, everyone's responsibility. This is Arthur Albiar of the DOST, a proud PWU student. Mabuhay DOST PWU. Back to you, Ma'am Tonet. Thank you, Ma'am Claire.
Thank you, Sir Art. Akala namin effective plant layouting lang. Meron din palang pa-feng shui kanina. So again, what kinds of layouts are acceptable based on the AO153? Right. If you have answered that, there should be no possible cross-contamination during processing of the products within the facility, you are correct. You need to follow that condition to know that your layout is truly effective. So thank you, Sir Art, for sharing your expertise this afternoon. So this afternoon, to give additional input on compliance indicators, our panelist, Ms. Ana Maria Daigan, may we see your gorgeous face, Ma'am Ana? A biology graduate will be talking about assessment of the food processing facility, and to be followed by Ms. Vanessa C. Garinya, Ma'am Van, who will be expanding on personal hygiene, which is a major concern on cross-contamination. So at this juncture, I'm giving you the floor, Ma'am Ana.
Thank you, Ma'am Tonet, for your introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is about food processing facility assessment. In addition to what Sir Art is trying to point out earlier, let me further discuss the requirements on the proper layout based on AO153, Current Good Manufacturing Practices Guidelines. According to the World Health Organization, around the world, an estimated 600 million or almost 1 in 10 people fall ill after eating contaminated food each year, resulting in 420,000 deaths. Ito ay numerong pwede naman nating iwasan kung magko-conduct tayo ng food processing facility assessment. So let us define what is food processing facility assessment. This is a comprehensive evaluation of food or beverage plant that assesses the overall production efficiency and safety of an operation. Sa pamamagitan nito, maaaring malaman ng isang food business operator ang mga oportunidad para ma-improve hindi lamang ang kaligtasan sa pagpoproseso, gayon din ang maaaring sanhi ng cross-contamination. According to DOH AO153, building and structures shall be of suitable size, design, and construction to facilitate maintenance and sanitary operations. Recommended din ang master plan that shows the building outline with production areas, service areas and surroundings, access for personnel and traffic ways, any approximate potential origins of problems, prevailing wind direction, planned cleaning practices, circulation of people and vehicles, and waste utilities, just like what Sir Art have discussed previously. The master plan is critical to predict in a food facility the routes that could lead to cross-contamination, yung mga barriers na pwede nating i-employ para ma-minimize ang mga potential contaminants around the factory. Under plant construction and design, floors should be waterproof, easy to clean and disinfect, non-absorbent, made of washable and non-slip material. You can use polyurethane paint or epoxy coating. Without crevices, bakit hindi recommended ang tiles? because may mga crevices na pwedeng sumiksik ang mga dumi. Slope sufficiently for easy draining of liquids. Stagnant water can lead to accidents and can be harborage of microorganisms. Drain shall be adequate in size with traps na mentioned to ni Sir Art kanina to collect and reduce the amount of fats, oils, and greases that enter the main sewers. Grease entering the main sewer system will over time create blockages, foul odors, and pest infestation. Katulad ng sahig, walls shall be waterproof, non-absorbent, and washable. Sealed and free of insects. Walang anay o langgam. Light-colored para kitang-kita ang dumi. Appropriate height for the operation to facilitate easy cleaning, smooth, and again without crevices, easy to clean and disinfect. Bakit importante ang coving? Because it allows easy cleaning and provides no room for bacteria to grow. Ceiling shall be constructed as to prevent the accumulation of dirt and mold and shall be easy to clean, and according to the Australian standard, the height shall be at least 2.4 meters. Kapag sobrang taas, syempre mahirap linisin. Adequate natural or artificial lighting should be provided. Lighting fixtures should be protected to ensure that the food is not contaminated by breakages. It is required by the Food Safety and Inspection Service of the USDA to at least have at least 200 foot candles of shadow-free light. Doors should have smooth, non-absorbent surfaces and where appropriate, be self-closing and close-fitting to avoid entry of pests. Windows should be constructed as to avoid accumulation of dirt, and those which open shall be fitted with insect-proof screens. Screens shall be easily removable for cleaning and kept in good repair. The recommended mesh size is of the US FDA is 16 to 25.4 millimeters. Adequate ventilation shall be provided to prevent excessive buildup of heat, dust, odors, and vapors. Fans and other air-blowing equipment shall be strategically located to avoid cross-contamination. Never from dirty to clean area. Ventilation opening shall be provided with a screen or other protecting enclosure of non-corrodable material. Screens shall be easily removable for cleaning. It is important to comply with food safety standards. Compliance is mandatory for all food businesses under the Food Safety Act of 2013. Penalties for non-compliance can be up to 300,000 pesos. Self-assessment can be done to evaluate the level of compliance with the food safety standards. Self-assessment tools can be used to assess the level of compliance of a business owner's facility. Self-assessment is a powerful management tool. By examining your operation, you may find ways to improve not just security and safety, but general work practices. Yan. There were self-inspection guides and self-assessment tools available in Philippine FDA website na makakatulong po sa inyo to do initial assessment sa inyong facility and operations. Also, USDA Food Safety Inspection Service have their food safety assessment tools per commodity po yun. HACCP requirements are also included in the checklist. HACCP is one of the topics for tomorrow's session, so don't forget again to join us. Aside from those previously mentioned self-assessment tools, the DOST Calabarzon developed Food Safety Self-Assessment Tool or FSAT, a mobile application consisting of series of guide questions benchmarked from Caraga Food Safety Team, DOST FNRI, and Central Luzon Food Safety Team in assessing food establishments. Since FSAT is a mobile application, it is easily accessible and you can download it for free in Google Play Store. FSAT will guide you to comply with FDA requirements. For further details, you can visit DOST Calabarzon's website or you can screenshot the QR code flashed on your screens. And okay, that's all for my topic. Huwag kalimutan, without food, we cannot survive. And that is why issues that affect the food industry are so important. And according to Thomas Jefferson, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Sabi nga ni Kuya Kim, lamang ang may alam, kaya self-check na. Yan, these are my references. If you are interested, kindly take a photo for future use. Again, I'm Ana Marie Daigan from the OSC Calabarzon. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Ma'am Anna, for sharing tips on how we can efficiently assess the compliance of a food processing facility. So for our next topic, if you are a food handler, it is a mortal sin to be dirty at work. To discuss thoroughly on the basics of personal hygiene, let's welcome to the virtual floor, Ma'am Vanessa C. Garinya.
Thank you, Ma'am Tonette, and good day to everyone. Okay po ba tayo? So along with the challenges of effective plant layout that Mr. Arthur previously mentioned, MSMEs in the Philippines also place a high priority on personal cleanliness. So effective personal hygiene rules and practices are the foundation of efficient food safety and quality assurance in all food processing operations. So in my presentation, I will focus on why food handlers are important in the food chain. Second is how to manage personal hygiene. And of course, third is what are the personal hygiene practices and how to monitor it. Do you know that there are 225,000 dies every year in Asia-Pacific region based on FAO, or the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations? And in the Philippines, about 209 reported foodborne diseases outbreaks for the period 2005 to June 2018, according to a study conducted by the Department of Food Science and Nutrition of the University of the Philippines due to foodborne illnesses. So according to the news in the photo, a disease epidemic linked to fruit candies that infected over 2,000 individuals in the Philippines was probably brought on by inadequate work hygiene at the production site, so which led to Staphylococcus aureus contaminations. The 1,925 confirmed cases, the majority of whom were children. So all reported experienced vomiting, diarrhea, and nausea as symptoms of the infections. The 2 business licenses have been suspended by the city authority in the area. So according to investigators, the contamination may have occurred during processing if contaminated workers drip sweat on the candies or mishandled them in some other way. Saan nga ba natin nakukuha itong Staphylococcus aureus? So human is covered with microorganisms in the nose, in the mouth, on our skin. So on our hair, pati yung puyong balbas ng mga lalaki, and under the nails. So even healthy humans are covered with bacteria. So about 20 to 35% of healthy adults carry it on their skin. Food handlers transfer this type of bacteria to food when they touch the infected areas of their bodies and they touch without washing their hands. Staphylococcus is a common bacteria often found on human skin and associated with dirty hands and body sweat in food facility settings. So people frequently touch the nose, eyes, and mouth without realizing. Tama po ba? So these are the situations that can lead to contaminating food. So with some illnesses, a person may infect others before showing any symptoms. For example, a person could spread hepatitis A for weeks before having any symptoms. With other illnesses naman, a person may infect others for days or even months after symptoms are gone. So norovirus can spread for days after symptoms have ended. So some people carry pathogens and infect others without ever getting sick themselves. So these people are called carriers. Food handlers who do not wash their hands after going to the restroom can contaminate food. So let's say food handlers or the chef from your favorite restaurant got sick and experiencing diarrhea or vomiting but still go to work. Lahat na po tayo naka-experience ng pagkatae. So pasintabi po sa mga kumakain or nag-snack dyan. No? Diba pabalik-balik tayo sa CR. So what happens if they handle food that a consumer later consumes without thoroughly washing their hands after going to the restroom? Thus, it is quite simple for harmful bacteria to spread. Poor personal hygiene practices can contribute to food contamination through the transfer of harmful microorganisms and substances from the body to the food. So examples are scratching our scalp, so touching our hair or face or other parts of the body, and then handling food without washing hands. Not washing hands thoroughly before handling food, especially after using the bathroom, blowing the nose, or touching our pets. So our employees must be trained on the importance of their personal hygiene and the procedures they need to follow to maintain it. Managers must establish clear guidelines and expectations for personal hygiene. Educate and train employees, encourage and promote a culture of cleanliness and hygiene by setting a positive example and recognizing and rewarding good hygiene practices. So personal hygiene can only ever be as good as the provided facilities na na-mention kanina ni Sir Arthur na need natin sa plant layout. So to prevent employees from skipping hand washing, hygiene facilities should be available and located in convenient areas. Facilities where food handlers wash their hands should have an adequate supply of potable water as well as hand cleaning supplies, so including yung liquid soap, brushes, and paper towels. Also, hand washing signs or posters are very helpful reminders, man. So never wash hands in sinks designated for food preparation or dishwashing or cleaning equipment. Utensils or sinks used for discarding wastewater or yung mga maraming nakatambak na sink. Requiring personnel to adhere to strict hygiene rules will not work if facilities are not clean. So every person engaged in or who enters a food handling area must maintain a high level of personal hygiene. This practice includes bathing. So sino po ba ang ginaliligo araw-araw, especially kung malamig? So of course, it's a no-no. We need to take a bath every day and washing hands frequently and thoroughly with a suitable hand cleaning preparation under running potable water. So don't forget to use a small brush to clean the spaces in between your fingers and under your nails. So why? Because of food handlers frequently experience this problem, which we usually observe in their nails. So, diba? So washing hands is the most important food poisoning prevention. Washing hands the right way by the following these 8 steps. So, have you been doing it wrong by your whole life? So, pansinin nyo yung mga galing sa CR. Are they properly washed their hands? Siguro yung iba, oo, pero madalas, hindi. Lalo na kung nagmamadali or minsan binabasa lang ng tubig. Tama po ba? So, sino po ang guilty dyan sa atin? So then, let's watch the video that will show us the correct way to wash our hands. The World Health Organization provided this video. Can you share the sound, ma'am, please? So, kailan nga ba tayo maghuhugas ng kamay? So, food handlers should always wash your hands. So, immediately before working with food, putting on a single-use gloves. So, it is also important to know that gloves are used to protect food from contamination and not protecting your hands. So one should always wash hands after using toilet, after handling waste, after smoking, coughing, sneezing, using tissue, eating, drinking, and after touching hair or scalp or mouth. So sanitizers only are effective on wash hands and do not replace hand washing. So like hand washing, a special dress code is required for everyone who enters a food handling area. These rules apply to everyone who enters the food handling. So, pag sinabi natin everyone, is kasama po dito yung mga food handlers, of course, syempre yung visitors, management, and contractors. So, exemptions must not be tolerated or otherwise, the strict rules personnel must adhere to will not make sense to them. So, food handlers must wear clean clothing daily, must handle aprons correctly, so never wipe your hands on your apron, and must not wear jewelry inside the production area or preparation area. So minsan nagtatanong tayo, bakit laging failed ang result ng ating produkto? So alam ba natin na malaki ang impact pagdating sa hygiene practices ng ating mga empleyado? So how it will be monitored? There are three established and recognized approaches that can be used for hygiene monitoring: visual inspection, microbiological testing, and adenosine triphosphate or ATP test. So visual inspection can quickly give a big picture view about the effectiveness of your cleaning processes, but it has limitation because microorganisms cannot be seen by our naked eye. So microorganism testing or the traditional method can enumerate organisms that may cause food contamination. However, it cannot provide immediate results on the manufacturing floor. While ATP testing is a widely accepted method that is highly efficient because it quickly and easily provided results. Instead of enumerating microorganisms, it measures ATP from microorganisms and food residues. These methods have their own advantages and disadvantages, of course, and the choice depends on various factors, such as the required sensitivity, speed, availability of equipment, and of course, the cost. So purchasing equipment and setting up a lab is an issue for the MSMEs, especially for the micro, diba? So but don't worry, the DOS regional standards and testing laboratories offer swab testing in addition to food and water testing. For the conclusions or summary, personal hygiene is important to prevent food poisoning. When handling food, wash your hands thoroughly and often. If you are sick, do not go to work because you can contaminate food more easily. Food handlers should be properly trained in safe food handling. So monitoring of personal hygiene helps to ensure that food handlers meet hygiene standards, thereby reducing the risk of foodborne illnesses. So here are my references. If you need further information, you may take screenshots. So thank you for listening. So remember, food safety is everyone's business and responsibility. Food safety is not just up to the government or food producers. Personal hygiene depends on you. Let us all work together to make sure that our food is and remains safe. Thank you very much and God bless po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Van. Tama, sa araw-araw, requirement talaga na malinis ang isip at katawan, especially when we are processing food. Thank you also, segment 2 speakers. It's now time again to address the viewers' questions. May I request all our session 2 speakers to join us in the virtual floor to address our viewers' questions. To all watching now, please take your time to post your questions in our Facebook and YouTube comment sections. We will choose as much as 10 questions to address at this juncture. So guys, are you with us now, speakers? We have here questions. Actually, marami pang mga naiwang questions for CPR, LTO, and labeling. So we are requesting the earlier speakers to please turn on your cam. So we have here a question for CPR. What agency or who will conduct CPR registration? It's from Marifel Lucanay in Zoom platform. Ma'am Reyna?
Okay, thank you for that question po. Yung actual CPR registration po is actually the responsibility of the firm. But kung hesitant po sila na sila lang po ang gagawa, pwede naman po silang lumapit sa mga SUCs, government agencies, and private po na mga service providers to assist them in the actual CPR application. Yun po, ma'am.
Thank you, Ma'am Reina. And I think the answer is clear. So, si FDA ang nagbibigay ng registration, but the firm should apply for the registration. So, second question is for, again, CPR, initial application processing, very favorite, from Andy Hernandez Dalinaw on Facebook Live. Is the shelf life study result of the product needed for LTO or CPR po, or both? Thank you.
Actually, sir, pwede naman yung ina-accept naman ni FDA po yung self-studied or self-declared shelf life po ng inyong product. Hindi naman po nire-require na kailangan may result talaga kayo ng shelf life testing, no? Pero tinatanggap na po ni FDA yung galing po sa inyo self-declared or self-studied shelf life. Okay?
Okay, so pero yun din.
I just want
Yes.
to add, Ma'am Tonet,
Yes, sir.
in particular, doon sa nabanggit ni Ma'am Reina. Ang triggering factor ng shelf life submission ay kapag meron po tayong claims. Yun po yung triggering factor wherein we should provide a shelf life analysis. The same is true with the stability test. Yun po,
So yan,
para po sa claims. Yun po yung
depende po
triggering
sa
factor.
product. So yun po. We need, for proper guidance, only FDA can actually answer us with the concrete. But yun, tama, they have points. On very low risk food products, the self-study on shelf life is acceptable. But if you are like applying for a CPR on your supplements, then you will need to have a laboratory tested shelf life. So you need a result for that. So yan po. So next question is on good manufacturing practice from Ma'am Verna Yago Abalayan Velasco from Facebook Live. GMP certification po ba pwede lang manggaling doon sa na-mention nyo na companies? Ano pong answer natin dito, Ma'am Rose?
Good afternoon po. Thank you for that question, ma'am. Ang FDA po is the regulatory body po na government na nagkakandak ng GMP certification. Yung nabanggit ko pong mga certifying body, so pwede po tayong asa kanila in private po yon, ma'am. So yung SGS, TUV, and other certifying body po. Pwede rin po silang mag-conduct ng GMP certification. So yun po.
Okay, we have another question about GMP certification from
Okay,
Ma'am
ma'am.
Lee. Magkano daw po ang cost of GMP certification, Ma'am Rose?
Okay. So for the GMP certification, ma'am, is cost 500 pesos po.
Per facility.
Vinalidate ko po yan for the FDA. Tinanong ko kung gaano kalaki, may sukat ba or small, medium, and large. So 500 pesos po yung processing po. Even in the small, medium, and large po for the GMP certification. Yes po.
Yun lang, yung mga attachment lang nun ang medyo mahal.
Yes,
Ang processing
yun lang
fee, 500
po.
pesos, but the attachment
Pero yung the
code
attachment and then the
can
mga...
reach up to magkano po, Ma'am Rose? Meron po ba kayong ballpoint estimate?
Ano po, ma'am?
Meron kayong ballpoint estimate kung magkano yung cost ng attachments for GMP certification
Ayan, ma'am.
application?
Ayan, ma'am. So, hindi po, wala, ma'am. Pero yung certification lang is 500, yung processing. But in private, siguro, yung mga nagpa-private po na consultant, yun po yung medyo malaki na po yung nire-require nila. Yan. Pero sa government, free po ang aming consultation, technical and consultancy po. Yeah, thank you.
Sige. May easy question dito. Ako na lang sasagot for the interest of time from Ma'am Jacqueline De Leon Magpayo in Facebook Live. Is the Certificate of Good Manufacturing Practices, one of the requirements for securing the FDA LTO. Yes, ma'am, you are required as a food processor, you are required to attend any seminar on good manufacturing practices before you will be given the FDA LTO. So yan po binibigay ni DOST for free. So visit your any DOST offices near you. So another question for the Philippine food labeling requirements from Jenny Revelin Dingrat in Facebook Live. Hello po, are the labeling requirements applicable to items with further cooking? Example, cooking to store. Currently, we use only nutrition facts and allergen content are not included in the packaging. So, Ma'am Grace?
Hello, ma'am. Thank you for your question. If the product is a prepackaged food product, it is important to follow the mandatory labeling requirement. However, there are some information that are not required, such as nutrition facts, kasi po for further processing pa yung product nyo. Thank you.
Thank you, Ate Grace, for that very clear answer. Let's proceed to another set of questions from Ray Kagmat in YouTube Live. There are third-party companies in Facebook that are willing to help in LTO and FDA accreditation. Is this allowed? I think I answered this. Yes, sir, they are allowed. You just need to ensure that they are legit. So before you engage with them, be sure that they have the business permit as a consultancy firm who could assist you on these endeavors. Another question from Marie Jane Patrimonio in YouTube Live. Training for FSCO is needed for FSSC. Is there any coming webinar for your end on this? So ako din sumagot. For now, we do not have one in the pipeline, but please consider checking the websites of ISO certifying companies. Usually sila po yung nag-offer ng training for FSCOs. Then another question for LTO application, Sir Henrich. Good afternoon po. For LTO renewal, ano po kaya ang requirements ng authorized representative? From Ma'am Kathleen Marquez in YouTube Live.
Okay, to answer that question. So, kung ito ay refer dun sa changes ng authorized representative before the initial, so you need to file the minor variation kay FDA. And then, mayroon po tayong mga charges na babayaran sa kanya. Just email the FDA po for the form ng changes.
Okay. I have an addition to that answer because I have recently assisted a client on this. So we were asked by the Region 11 FDA to submit the official email address of the company, the name of the owner, the position of, the owner, the company name and contact number, and then an attached notarized authorization letter for the authorized representatives. Yan. I hope that clears up your question, Ma'am Kathleen. So another question for the effective plant layout. So Ma'am Ana Marisigan in Facebook Live asked, good afternoon, can you recommend any free software wherein plant layout could be created? I gave answers, Sir Art, before you. So for me personally, I use Google SketchUp, Visio. If you have budget, then you can use AutoCAD. But there's also another freeware, floorplancreator.net. So that's very user-friendly. So kayo po, Sir Art, ano po yung ginagamit nyo?
Now, para po sa katulad ko na hindi ganun kateki, yung Microsoft Visio, yun po yung tawag nito, yung pinaka-simple na paggawa po ng plant layout. Pero ang ginamit ko doon sa aking mga presentations, just like the plant layout that I provided, Microsoft Visio lang po yung ginamit ko.
Pero with Visio, you still need to acquire a Microsoft license. Tama po ba, Sir Art?
Tama, ma'am. Binili ko po ng worth 3,000 yung sa license.
3,000, okay. Very minimal lang po naman yun if you will be on consultancy in food safety. So another question regarding plant layout that would, I will address this from Winja in YouTube Live. Regarding the layout, paano po i-incorporate ang halal principles and allergen control? So, sir or ma'am, ba ito si person Winja? Please attend our session 3 tomorrow. We'll be having a topic on halal and your concern will be addressed by our speaker, Mama Ritu Sinolindings. Yun. Another question on food hygiene, Ma'am Van. From Jenny Revelin Dingrat in YouTube Live, need po na warm water po ang gamit po sa hand washing? O ito, tinuturo natin to.
Oo. Actually, marami na nag-wonder kung hot water or cold water ba yung best killing effect nung sa nating washing. So, medyo may mga researchers na hindi naman importante yung yung temperature daw. Ang importante is yung soap na ginagamit natin sa paghugas ng ating kamay, because yung should washing hands, so maghugas tayo, frequently tayo maghugas ng kamay, so the temperature you don't no need naman na kailangang warm talaga siya. Okay, so friction lang naman ng ating kailangan sumunod tayo dun sa proper hand washing. Yun yung importante doon.
Ang very critical then is dapat potable and running yung water na gamitin natin while hand washing. Another question for food hygiene from same person, Ma'am Jenny Revelin Dingrat. Ano po yung standard limit sa ATP swab testing? Yan, very good question.
So sa ATP naman swab testing, kayo po yung mag-establish ng acceptable levels ng So i-validate niyo, and kayo po yung magmamonitor ng cleaning by inspection and taking duplicate microswab when you take the ATP swabs. So depende po sa niya, sa establish ng company. Okay?
And to end this open forum session, the last question that we will be addressing is from Gladys Urine Fredeluces in Facebook Live. So ang question niya, saan po makakakuha ng GMP seminar? Again, meron pong binibigay na free GMP seminar si DOST. You just need to go to the nearest DOST office to you. And that ends the open forum of this segment. Now, tapos na tayo sa mga napakaseryosong usapan on licensing and certifications. We hope we have addressed all your questions. So sa mga deep namin nasagot earlier, you may try to reach the speaker to whom your concern is addressed through their emails and respective offices as they flashed earlier. But guys, don't leave yet. Maglalaro pa tayo. Again, we will play Kahoot. Now, open your extra phone or any device that is connected to the internet, log in at kahoot.it and use the game pin. What's our game pin today? 1814322. Again, 1814322. Enter the game room with your nickname, and please note that our account can only accommodate 400 players. So first come, first serve lang po tayo. Just like earlier, we will have 5 questions and the top 3 in the podium will be rewarded with GCash later. You'll be given 30 seconds to answer each question by choosing the correct shape or color as shown in the Game Master screen. The faster you answer, for as long as your answer is correct, the higher chances of winning. So later, winners, don't forget to send a screenshot of your podium win to the messenger account of Ma'am Reyna Elida along with your full name and GCash number. Ma'am Reyna's messenger account details will be posted at the topmost comment in our Facebook Live. Now, ilang players na ba? 111 pa lang. 123. Pabutin natin ng 150. Yan. 150, 138, 143, 148, 149, 152. So I think we have reached the targeted mark. We can start now, Ma'am Reyna. For the first question in this session's game, which of the following practices are not allowed in a processing area? Is it in red, eating and drinking, in yellow, wearing of makeup, or blue, untrimmed fingernails, or green, all of the above? Which of the following practices are not allowed in the processing area? Eating and drinking, wearing of makeup, untrimmed fingernails, and all of the above. Use your phone in answering para po makakapture chances of winning GCash. So the correct answer is all of the above. Bawal po lahat ng madumi sa loob ng processing. So we got 91 correct answers, and the leading for this question is... Oh, matalino nga si Talino. Siya ang number 1. And followed by Jen, and next is Duday. Next question. For the second question, what does FSAT stand for? Is it in red, Food Safety Self-Assurance Tool; in yellow, Food Safety Self-Assessment Tool; in blue, Food Safety School Assessment Tool; and green, Food Safety Strategic Assessment Tool? What does FSAT stand for? Is it Food Safety Self-Assurance Tool, Food Safety Self-Assessment Tool, Food Safety School Assessment Tool, and Food Safety Strategic Assessment Tool? Ta-da! And the correct answer is Food Safety Strategic Assessment Tool. So 43 got it correctly. I hope na correct pa rin si Talino dahil matalino. Oh, yan. The person at Talino maintained his or her standing. He's the first, followed by Teen X, and sino ba itong mga cellphone numbers ang nire-register? 0947. Okay, next question. The next question for this quiz is, type of layout where input raw materials are processed continuously, forming a straight flow of production. Is it process layout in red, product or line layout in yellow, functional layout in blue, or fixed position layout in green? So type of layout where input raw materials are processed continuously, forming a straight flow of production. Process layout, product or line layout, functional layout, or fixed position layout? 2, 1. And the correct answer is product or line layout. So 63 got the correct answer. Who's leading now? Oh, na-maintain ni Talino ang pagiging matalino niya. And then followed by Miko, Factoriza, and Nell on the third place. The fourth question for this quiz is, a certificate issued by the FDA for products that are registered in the Philippines. Is it in red, certificate of analysis; in yellow, certificate of approval; in blue, certificate of product registration; or in green, certificate of approved product? A certificate issued by the FDA for products that are registered in the Philippines. Certificate of analysis, certificate of approval, certificate of product registration, or certificate of approved product? And the correct answer is, kung hindi nyo pa to na-gets, maybe hindi kayo nag-listen. So it is certificate of product registration. So let's see who are our winners for this round. Ayan, na-maintain nilang tatlo ang kanilang standing, si Talino, Miko, Factoriza, and Nell. For our final and last question, the proper product label is a requirement to A, red, GMP certification; yellow, CPRE application; blue, HACCP; or green, none of the above. The proper product label is a requirement to red, GMP certification; yellow, CPRE application; blue, HACCP; or green, none of the above. 2, 1. And the correct answer is yellow, CPRE application. So let's see who our winners are. Congratulations to third placer Kenneth. Oh, na-change. Second placer Miko, Factoriza, and ang ating nangunguna ay si walang iba kundi si Talino. So game winners, don't forget to take a screenshot of your podium win and then send it to the Messenger account of Ma'am Reyna Elida along with your full name and GCash number. So thank you everyone for joining our game. So at this juncture, may we request Dr. Menchita F. Dumlao, Chairperson of the Research Ethics Review Board, Head of Technology Integration Team, Learning Management Systems Administrator, and Program Chair of the Information Technology of the Philippine Women's University, to award the Certificate of Appreciation to our session speakers. Dr. Dumlao, you may now take over the virtual floor.
Good afternoon to everyone. Congratulations. So let me read the citation for the certificates. Philippine Women's University, School of Food Science and Technology hereby awards this Certificate of Appreciation in sincerest gratitude for their selfless and commendable service rendered as resource speakers during the conduct of webinar entitled The Future of Safety, Everyone's Responsibility, Session 2, The Road to Food Safety Compliance Towards Certification. Given this 21st day of February 2023 at the Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines, signed by Dr. Renato U. Solidum Jr., Secretary of DOST, Dr. Maria Ligaya T. Braganza, Program Chair, School of Food Science and Technology, and Mr. Marco Alfredo M. Benitez, President, Philippine Women's University. We are awarding this certificate to the following: Ms. Antoinette Rita Marie A. Blanco for her topic, Major Food Safety Concerns Among MSMEs in the Philippines. And next is Mr. Heinrich O. Villanueva for his topic, FDA LTO Initial Application and Renewal. And next, Ms. Reina D. Elida for her topic, Certificate of Product Registration Process Initial Application. Next is Ms. Rose Ann T. Bautista for her topic, Good Manufacturing Practices Certification Process. Another is Ms. Grace A. Ricardo for her topic, Philippine Food Labeling Requirements. And another, Mr. Arthur Aubrey Alviar for his topic, Effective Plant Layouting. And Ms. Ana Marie S. Daigan for her topic, DOST Calabarzon's Food Safety Self-Assessment Tool. And last but not least, Ms. Vanessa C. Guerina for her topic, Personal Hygiene. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Dumlao, for gracing our event amidst your busy schedule. So to all our viewers, we will be giving out certificate of attendance also to those who will be completing the webinar evaluation form. Please scan the QR code flashed on your screen to be directed to the form. We'll also be pinning the QR code or the evaluation link at the top comment in our Facebook Live for your reference. But please hurry since we will be closing the evaluation link around 6 p.m. today. And that's the end of the second segment of this afternoon's webinar entitled The Future of Food Safety, Everyone's Responsibility, Technical Session 2, The Road to Food Safety Compliance Towards Certification. Thank you all for your participation, and we hope to see you tomorrow for our third technical session for this webinar series at exactly 8:30 a.m. Now back to you, Ma'am Diana.
Thank you very much, Ms. Donette. Truly, it may be very tasking to comply all these regulatory requirements, but these are all worth investing your time and resources at the end of the day. You'll always be confident and at peace transacting business or trade to any customer. So it's a wrap for today. Thank you again to all our guests and participants. I just have clarified something. No, so it will be Ash Wednesday tomorrow. This church event is usually for Catholics, and PWU would have a mass celebration at around lunchtime. So we will be starting early tomorrow to catch our schedule. So we will start po, instead of 8:30, we will have it at 8 a.m. And reminder po, the evaluation link, the evaluation forms, don't forget. And of course, we will not end the day without a photo opportunity. So may I request everybody to please open their cameras or videos. Yes, Ma'am Jo, we will have one. So on Ma'am Jo's cue.
Stop sharing. Stop share muna tayo para makita ko. Stop share na.
Yes,
Yan. Okay.
Very much and see you again tomorrow 8 a.m. po tayo. See you. Goodbye, Aju.
Guys, pa-check nyo daw,